how old are you?
So I'm 20 years old. I joined Hustler in the system when I was 18.
So how much did you make in total?
From my spreadsheet on the system, I think it was like 37 or 38K that I've made, like 16, 17 months I was in.
We can talk about, why you jumped off the system, why you somewhat stopped match betting.
So while the money was insane, I didn't work a job since like June. So that was like 6 months of me living off just the system. I was basically like free as a 19-year-old because I was making good money. Be free all day because I wasn't working. Only Wednesdays and Saturdays was when I'd do the tips. When I'd be working, I was like, it kind of felt too easy. So I got scammed. So I loaned money off my mom, $1,000. She was like, yeah, that's fine. Just pay me back. It's all good, right? And then I lost this money and I couldn't sleep, couldn't look her in the face. It was really dark days. I spoke to JP.
You were fucked. Like you were in a bad place.
All right. We good?
Yes.
We're good. Yeah.
Beautiful. We're back. It's been a little while. Welcome, Gator.
Thanks for having me.
No, it's good to have you here, mate. You've come a fair way to join us. Obviously down in Melbourne for, 4 or 5 days?
5 days, yeah.
5 days from Perth, yeah?
Yeah, that's right.
From Perth. So Gator here is no longer a member of the system, obviously still a member of Platinum Squad. When you're a member for life, but not a very active member, let's say. You've probably called it, or having a bit of a hiatus on your match betting career for the time being. But how about you give people, obviously being a past member of the system for a long time, made a decent bit of coin. How about, you give everyone a bit of a sort of summary to begin with of how you came across us, how your match betting journey looked like from start. We won't touch on what you're doing now. We'll save that for the end because that's some pretty exciting stuff that you're doing now. And obviously match betting, you've sort of mentioned, has sort of taken you onto a pretty cool path that you're taking now. But yeah, let's start all the way back to, I guess, how you found us. I think it was on TikTok you mentioned it. And then,
So basically I came across one of JP's TikToks talking about like this new side hustle where you can make money and, it doesn't take much capital to start and all these benefits. So I was like, fuck it, let me just, have a look and see. I did the free platinum course. I completed it very quickly. I think I finished it like back to back with no rest. And then I think I had like maybe 2.5K in savings. Platinum Squad was only like $800 at the time. So I was like, fuck it. Like, I know that I shouldn't keep my savings and I should invest it in myself somehow.
Nice.
So that's how I came across Platinum Squad. And then regarding the system, I believe I was doing the horse promo method from the Platinum Squad. I figured out that no laying the horses from like the actual tips are more profitable. So I think I did it for a week or two until I discovered that you guys actually had a tipping service. So
how did you so that's awesome. So for people who are a bit unaware, horse promo method is one of the methods used or taught within Platinum Squad, within the Hustler Squad. It's basically using very similar promos that the system does. However, you're taught to use Betfair to lay your bets and hope that horse comes second or third sort of thing. So that's a general sort of idea of the horse promo method. So you mentioned then you sort of worked out that no laying was more profitable. How did you come about that?
I think it's because when I was doing the horse promo method, a lot of the horses would win. And I'd be pissed off that my money was going out of Betfair into the bookies. So I literally just looked at my spreadsheet, took off the lay, and then found out if I was converting at 75% as a platinum member, then I'd be more profitable from like profit on turnover or like ROI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. It's
interesting. And then, so obviously, I think I just checked then, you joined in July 21.
Yeah.
And then you joined the system a month exactly later.
Okay. Yeah.
August 21, so 2021. And then I think you stayed on for, I don't know, a year and a half maybe.
Till January 2023, I believe.
Yeah, okay, so about a year and 4 months or whatever, so about 16 months. So after you started with the system, what happened then? Like, what unit size did you start with? How quickly did you make money? Yeah.
So I think I had like a 2K bankroll, $40 unit size.
Yep.
Put that to 50 for a while, like pretty quickly, and then stayed at 50 for a long time. And then I got scammed, which we can talk about later. But I had to cut down my unit size to like 25 and then like worked it back up to 50, was on 50 for a bit, and then did 100. And then some days I'd do 150, but it was a bit unsustainable at the time. I could have done it if I had more accounts and all
Just
this stuff.
in
but-
terms of unsustainable, not for bankroll,
Yeah.
for account spread. Yeah.
yeah. So I was on 100 until the end, I think.
So were you only using accounts in your name or using
So-
multiple sets?
When I started $100, I just had one other set
Yeah.
of accounts. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so 150 with 2 sets is probably pushing it.
Yeah,
Obviously,
it was
you knew
definitely
that,
pushing
so-
it. That was just me being greedy.
And
Yeah.
probably back then when you were doing it, there's probably more bookies now that you can spread rather
Yeah.
than before. Or maybe there was different types of bookies. It's
Yeah,
kind
there
of
was-
changed a little bit. There's a lot more smaller ones now, whereas previously there was like more of the bigger ones offering, like your Top Sports and Ladbrokes and
Yeah.
stuff has become more exclusive.
Yeah.
But that's cool. So how much did you make in total?
From match betting or like from the system?
Both. If you want to just
Yeah. So
elaborate
explain
why
what
they're
you mean.
two different
Yeah.
figures, I
Yeah.
suppose.
Okay. So from the system itself, like from my spreadsheet on the system, I think it was like 37 or 38K that I've made over the year and like 16, 17 months I was in.
That's nice.
So yeah, that's pretty insane. But from my total of matched betting, that was around like 20, 25K.
So that's quite a difference in figures right there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you mentioned you got scammed. Is that the big reason why those figures are so different?
Yeah, that's definitely
Yeah.
the big reason. But also like sustainability, mugging, laundering, and yeah, just other stuff that I've done. That costs
Account
money.
management
Yeah.
fees, essentially. Yeah.
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 The tax, the match betting tax that you got to give
Yeah,
back to the
mistakes as
bookies.
well.
Mistakes, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Also, tell us, how old are you?
So I'm 20 years old. I
okay.
joined Hustler in the system when I was 18.
Nice. So pretty early, like
Yeah.
flat out 18, or you were like halfway through? You just turned
I
18?
was nearly 19.
Yeah, right.
It takes some balls, like
Yeah, to do
$2.5 grand. I imagine that was your whole savings, $2.5 grand, yeah? When
Yeah,
you came
that
across
was
that
it.
TikTok.
Yeah.
Like that takes some balls to be like, I'm just gonna like to make $1,000 an 18-year-old, you're probably working, I don't know whether you're working at like a pub or something, but I remember when I was 18, I think I was working Macca's or a pub. Like,
I was working Macca's as well.
like you get like $14 an hour maybe, like as
Yeah.
an 18-year-old, like to earn $1,000 that you're then going to put into a gambling course when you've only got $2.5 grand, like it takes some balls. It takes some balls. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
were people like, what did your parents say? Did they know?
They didn't
say
know.
anything?
I just did it on my own.
Yeah, okay.
I knew that my savings, I couldn't just save to get rich, right? I had to invest in a skill.
Yeah.
Or I knew I was some sort of course that I had to buy. And then when JP mentioned about like, we'll pay you $500 if you don't profit just
Yeah.
for wasting your time. I was like, fuck, this is a no-brainer. I should just do it.
Give it a crack.
I didn't even think about it. I was like, fuck it, let me do it.
Had you heard
I could have booked a call with JP and I was like, nah, don't need it. If I get scammed, I get scammed. Like,
Yeah.
fuck it.
Why do you, this is like more of a personal question, but I reckon the way you've been brought up, potentially that's how you operate. Like there's a lot of people, I think, like obviously you weren't born in Australia. Do you think that has caused you to take more risks? Like, I don't know what your history is prior to coming to Australia. Like, did your family have to move here? Like, were you
Yeah.
super poor when you came here? Like,
Not really. No,
No.
yeah, like we're pretty like high middle class.
Yeah.
Like,
like
yeah, I
why
wouldn't
do
say it had anything to do with like my background or anything. I think
Okay.
it's just because I knew I was young. I was living at home. I have no expenses, no responsibilities. I
Yeah.
can take risks while I'm still 20, still
Yeah.
living at home. I can take even more risks, and I just
Interesting.
love doing that. I'm an action taker, which probably there's cons of doing that, like being scammed, as an example. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
I mean, you're going
but
to miss
you
every
learn
now and
from
again.
that.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
probably won't get scammed again because you got scammed the first
Yeah.
time. Whereas, like, yeah, I don't know. I got scammed pretty early I sent $700 US to a Western Union account once trying to sell iPad cases. And as soon as the money was sent, the person disappeared and I learned some shit there. And obviously we've been scammed through other things.
Yeah, I got scammed.
Through
I sent-
business.
Some guy was trying to get our Instagram back. I sent him
think I saw
$200 in
that.
Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And then he went missing.
Oh, bro, we got scammed at the start of this year with the social media.
Yeah.
Like it happens.
You got to take risks though. Like
yeah.
at the end
Yeah.
of the day, if you never take a risk, it's never going to pay off. So
yeah, for sure.
And
It's-
like it's the classic like investing sort of or the classic sort of approach of like investing into stocks, whatever, like when you're young, what is it? It's like you're going to earn the amount of wealth that you've earned when you're young is a lot smaller compared to when you're like, say when you're 40 or something, the amount of wealth that you're going to earn for the rest of your life is potentially only half of what you've already earned, right? But it's like when you're 20, the amount of wealth that you're going to earn is like 98% of what you've earned already. So it's like you can afford to take a risk with the 2% that you've earned because you're going to earn 98% more, like sort of thing. So it's like take risks early because you've got a chance to like earn it back sort of thing.
I don't think a lot of people do that though. Just the way that they're wired, it's very much save, buy a house when you're 25, etc. Like I think that's where a lot of people get stuck, and it's like nice to hear. And we can't claim that because you did it before. Like you've obviously had some kind of, even the way you said
to do
that,
it at
like,
18.
At 18 is very like you're ahead of the way you think at that point. Like to think I've got 2.5K savings, no expenses. That's very like critical analysis and it's very logical. And then you've just gone bang, and then here we are. So elite.
It obviously takes you must be quite like ambitious, right? Like you've got pretty high aspirations, like leading on to sort of, I guess we can talk about, you know, why you jumped off the system, why you somewhat stopped match betting. It's pretty sort of ambitious why you've jumped off, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you
like,
want me to
talk about that? Yeah.
So I think, I quit the system January 2023. There's a bunch of reasons why. So while the money was insane, to be honest, I didn't work a job since like June. So that was like 6 months of me living off just the system.
Let's see.
I was basically like free as a 19-year-old living at home because I was making good money. I had no expenses.
Nice.
I was basically free all day because I wasn't working. Only Wednesdays and Saturdays was when I'd do the tips. When I'd be working, I was like, it kind of felt too easy. As well, obviously, like the money, if I had kids and a mortgage, it's fuck all, right? But like as a 19-year-old living at home with no expenses, I was like financially free, time free. Like
it's a good
it was
feeling,
insane.
isn't it?
Yeah. Like all my friends would be working. I could just sit at home and be lazy. Just work on a Saturday hungover and a Wednesday.
That's very similar to my match betting journey.
Exactly. So while that was good, I obviously have like big goals in life. Like I want to make a lot of money. I knew that this was limited. The system was limited to probably like $200 unit size, which I was doing 100 already and struggling to get the tips on. So, because sometimes it'd be too late. So I knew that it was a bit limited unless I had people to work for me, but obviously human error, training people. I just couldn't, I didn't want to deal with that.
The way there are people that do that. It's just like very much like it's, true, it's good for your age.
And then I was actually considering starting my own match betting course. So kind of ripping you guys off. Or doing my own tipping service, which do you want to touch on? Like the reason why I didn't do it by myself was because I was paying for the convenience, easier to track, more sustainable. I think that's the main thing, because I'd have to look at more bookies. I'd probably be punting on races that I shouldn't be for sustainability reasons. And it was just so much easier to be in a community following the same, like, you know, if you guys would be up 20 units, then that's how much I should be up, for example. So I was thinking of doing either a tipping service or a course. But I realized the only way to grow that was through a personal brand, which you guys have done. You guys post lots of content, tutorials and all that stuff. I didn't want my face to be out there as like this gambling guy, which props to you guys for taking all that hate and all that. Because I was not ready for that. I was definitely not ready for that. And I guess that's when I knew that I couldn't be match betting forever, right?
Interesting.
So
it's a real sort of like long-term game that you've taken with it. It's like, you could have followed, and you even said before we jumped in front of the cameras, you said, I probably could have followed for another 6 months and made an extra, who knows, 15, 20, 30 grand maybe sort of thing. But, you know, at the end of the day, in 5 years' time, are you going to be a millionaire from match betting? No, you're not going to be a millionaire from match, or not likely sort of thing. You can be, but at the end of the day, you've gone, no, like I want want to look to the future, and I want to find something that's setting myself up, laying foundations for long-term, like 10, 15, 20 years into the future. So yeah, massive props to you for doing that.
It's a funny one because you'll get a lot of people who would have heard the first bit, like about his 6 months where he was living and doing nothing basically. And then it's like, people will be like, why the fuck would you not just do that for the rest of your life? And I'm glad someone else has then said, like, you see the bigger picture. Like, why don't we match bet and bet with $500 unit size or $1,000 unit size? It's because what comes from that is like, yeah, cool, we're making money, but it's like, we're not 18, we're 30. You're a bit younger, but like, there's no goal or purpose for us, and it's hard to explain that to people. But I think you can understand that because you can see, like, yeah, cool, it's money, but what's coming from that in 3-5 years time? What are you going to do? Like, you're probably not in the same position, or you're not working towards something for yourself. So I'm glad, even though you've taken the sort of all or nothing approach, you probably could do what you're doing now and still match bet. And I dare say you probably will come back at some stage and find like middle ground balance. But it's good to see that you've actually seen the bigger picture, which is nice. But for anyone out there watching, like, he's made like, how much? 40K before that's happened. So don't stop when you've made 2K and be like, I'm stopping match betting. Make money first. So,
but obviously, like, I know for me, one of the big things with match betting, I think will be something that you can resonate with, Gator, is there's other ways out there to make money, right? It's like, as we were sort of talking about before, you know, people are very scared. They want to save their savings, get a job, get a family, whatever. Family's probably a little bit, you know, separate, but it's still somewhat similar. Like, follow that trajectory, buy a house, get a mortgage.
Go to uni, waste
live in
50K.
your bubble, waste your 50K at uni, be in hex debt for the rest of your life. Like, but once you find a different way to make money, then you're like, oh, well, what else is out there? Like, what other ways are there to make money? And then obviously, you know, you've taken the skills of match betting and from all reports, you know, sort of expanded on them, taking that mindset, taking that approach, taking that somewhat entrepreneurial sort of lifestyle to, you know, put yourself into a position now where you got your own little side business. Well,
it's my full-time business.
It's your full-time.
That's all I do, just work on the business. So
what is it?
So I basically help real estate agents get more listings, so more houses to sell.
Sick. Through mainly ads and paid ads and stuff.
I help them with their like overall marketing, but mainly the ads.
So how does that, like, for anyone out there who kind of has no clue how that works, what does that look like? Like, what's a week look like, or what do you actually do to do that?
Yeah, so like during the day, all I do is outreach, trying to get more clients, right? So I'll do, you know, cold calls, cold emails. Not sure if you guys know what these strategies are. And just outreaching to and speaking to more agents on the phone. Not only am I doing outreach, but I'm also doing market research, you know, figuring out their pain points, what their problems are, to see how I can help solve them, if I can even help solve them. And then I take my sales meetings, I guess you could say, where, you know, I have a discovery call with a real estate agent, and I essentially see if I can help them first. And then if I have a solution for them, then I pitch them my services and try to close them on these calls. So I do these during the day. Also, I have meetings with my current clients as well. And then at night, it's just fulfillment. So that's when I'm working on the ads and doing all that back end stuff for my clients.
So you got like a structure, like three parts to your day. Is that pretty like?
Kind of,
Does it overlap? Obviously, it's not like
sometimes it does, but
That's
usually I can stick to that, like meetings during the day, and then fulfillment at night.
Have you got people working for you as well?
So I've got my brother who's kind of helping me with a bunch of stuff, and I've got a virtual assistant in Bangladesh.
Nice. So you've had to train them up and
he saves me a lot of time.
What's it? I've just literally just got a virtual assistant for us here as well. To do some stuff. What have you got them doing?
Just a lot of inbox management and cleaning up the pipeline. Really, that's all they do. But he saves me a lot of time. So
explain that. What that means to people.
So inbox management is like just managing emails and I guess messages, and then cleaning up the pipeline is like on spreadsheets, because I track everything, which I've learned from you guys to track everything. Like all my calls, how many emails I've sent, how many text messages I've sent.
That's elite.
And that's just for outreach. For fulfillment, I track all the ads and everything, all the views from like the funnels and all this stuff.
So you can monitor your progress essentially, right? You can see, and like that would help then going back to a client and being like, hey, look, like day 1, you were getting this many views, this many likes, this many DMs, whatever. Day 20, I've been on your team for 3 weeks. Like it just gives you more leverage,
It
right? More
objectifies
data.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can see what's working well and what's not.
Yeah.
Because if you're not tracking, you don't know like if it's working.
Yeah. It's just gut feel at that point.
Or
like,
if I'm testing a few different strategies and one's performing really well, then I just spam that one strategy.
So how did you learn all this? Because you're talking like
Yeah.
obviously
like
you're very switched on. You're like the way you go about things, even like even the way you went about your match betting, like you're always looking. You talked about no laying. Obviously you discovered no laying the horse promo method yourself, and the benefit you were getting there. But like, let's somewhat take this away from match betting. Obviously that's just your mindset, the way you do things. You're always trying to make things better, improve things. Really, how did you learn? Obviously, this whole sort of sales business that you've got, because it's sales, it's paid ads, it's
marketing,
funnels, it's marketing. It's very similar to a lot of the stuff we do here, but a different sort of angle. How did you learn it all?
So I did exactly how I learned match betting. So I bought courses.
Yeah, okay.
I learned from mentors. I've probably spent over 20K on courses and mentors.
That's elite.
That's sick.
Which I do not regret a single bit. Some of them I probably could have got better for the price I was paying, but I don't regret it because it's led me to here. And I don't plan on I'm like addicted to buying courses and paying for mentors.
That's sick.
Because I just want to learn, and I knew that it was better than going to uni, and because that was going to be way more expensive anyway. So 20K for a few courses and a few mentors isn't all that much, considering I've got Hex and shit from uni, which I've deferred. So
Yeah. Well,
I was going to say, like we were talking before, like there's, e.g., you can go to uni and do a marketing course, and with all due respect to that, I think, I don't want to talk for it because I don't actually know what's in those courses, but I dare say you'd probably be in a better position doing 3 years of marketing yourself, working for yourself, forced adaptation, essentially like you have to do it because you got to make money, than the person coming out of uni in 3 years' time. Yeah, cool, they might learn some more structured stuff, but I guarantee you're going to learn more because you're forced to. On your
you're going to
own.
learn the theory.
You just,
but once you've applied the theory,
I could argue that like we've never done a marketing course.
No.
We've bought other things that like helped us in certain aspects, but minimal, not 20K like you have. Yeah. But just posting a video, understanding what happens, the algorithm, understanding the analytics and analyzing things like that. Like that's how you learn anything in life. You just do learn by doing. So it's nice to hear as well. I like the fact that you're a go-getter, but you've also been not scared and afraid to just fucking upskill and invest. A lot of people just have these like complexes around like buying shit. It's like, oh, I'm going to spend $1,000. Like they're attached to the $1,000, but you don't care. Like you see it as like probably as more of a fear. If you don't buy it, you're going to miss out on the knowledge that's in the course.
Isn't it? Yeah.
That's how I think now as well. And like if it's $500 or $1,000 and we might gain 2% out of it, it's like, well, what's the worst case? You lose $500.
Exactly.
You might gain 100%, and it's like, we'll do it. So elite. So what's the goal with that now? Like, do you want to do that for 10 years, 20 years, or do you want to scale that, or
we'll see.
The plan?
Yeah, I think I'm making like pretty good money for my age, and I don't have to work as many hours, which is good. Obviously, I've got my virtual assistant helping me save a lot of time, but yeah, I'd say next few years definitely try to pump it out and just go ham, see where it takes me. Yeah. Just go from there, really.
Are you just doing like residential, or are you doing like commercial?
I'm just doing residential real estate agents,
in WA? Or do you know
I've got clients all over Australia.
Yeah, right.
And some in the US, which I'm slowly branching out to. Yeah.
Nice.
That's hectic.
So have you had to like learn each state's like research of like the market, or you don't really need?
A little bit. Obviously when I run ads, I make ads that resonate best with the market of whatever state or suburb they're in. So I have to do a bit of research on that for sure. Yeah,
nice. And how have you found like the US? Like, is that very small compared to your Australian business, or is it still like?
It's just definitely like way more room for growth in the US, I think. Except, there's a bunch of like laws that are different in advertising there. So I'm slowly getting into it.
Yeah,
only got a few clients there, but.
A few.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
But the stuff that works there doesn't necessarily work here. So
do you want to go into like how deep do you want us to ask questions about your business? Like, can we ask anything, or like do you want to keep some shit private? Like, what's the go?
How about just ask me, and if I don't want to disclose it.
I'm more intrigued as to like how you're like, if someone signs like
Yeah.
a thing with you, like a client, are they paying like a one-off fee and they get you forever, or are you getting like commission on certain things? How does it work? Like, how do you get paid essentially?
Yeah. So my main offer is like a service fee that I get paid per month. So
Yeah.
yeah, and that doesn't include the ad spend, which
They
I
pay.
get my clients to
They
pay.
cover it,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I do have 2 current clients on a commission basis only. But obviously that like I have to rely on them to actually close the deal. So that's
Yeah.
why I don't want to do as many of those as
More
possible.
risk for you, yeah.
Definitely more risk. It probably
No
is
shit,
better
yeah.
scaling because I definitely would get paid more if they close
they
the
do
deal.
close.
Higher up,
But I can't control
what they do.
what they do and
Yeah.
in the actual appointments of them closing deals. But that's why I'm sort of thinking of potentially making like a mini course for them to help them close deals, because most of them are, they're getting clients through like referrals, and
Yeah.
it's a lot different closing deals from like referrals and your traditional methods of lead generation than like online leads from ads. Online leads from ads, they take
Okay.
more like, they need more to get
Maintenance.
closed, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, voice of like if word of mouth is always going to be a lot stronger than a
Yeah.
random ad on Facebook.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So you have like what do you call it? Like goals and objectives that you have to tick off to get the service fee, or like does it based on like however?
No,
like,
I know. If so, I basically offer them my services, and I don't start working until they pay me. So
Yeah.
and then it's a monthly retainer basically
yeah, and they
for each client. Yeah,
So have you found that when you started, have you like obviously, for example, when we started the system, right? We just sent out the tips.
yeah,
Like, and that's what a lot of other services have tried to do. But now we offer like personal coaching, mindset stuff. So like we've adapted our process. The tips are now the cream on the top. So for you, when you started, I'm sure you've now got a better process than when
sure.
you when you started. So did you find that you retained a lot of people at the start, or did you find that like you get 1 month and then they piss off basically at the start, or how did that work?
Mainly that, I'd say. For my first few clients, definitely, yeah, like they respect me, they respect what I'm doing. No hard feelings. It's just like, yeah, they didn't see, I guess, the long-term vision, which that's why I've increased my minimum, like, I guess, contract to 3 months from 1 month, because
Nice.
1 month, it's not realistic for me to get them results.
That was going to be my question.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
even 3 months, I'm thinking of changing that to 6 months.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's pretty like, it's not for everyone to do this, because you need to have that long-term mindset. Same with,
Absolutely.
We've
match betting.
like try to maybe delete the weekly because it's not what we're about. But then at the same time, like it gives someone an opportunity to get in for a cheaper price and then they upgrade or whatever. But ultimately, I think you'll get to the point, and I don't want to speak for you, but it looks like you probably prefer to deal with like higher end, long-term
for sure.
people, which anyone would in a business. Gym memberships, like I know Melbourne Strength Culture, they tried to do like minimum 6 monthly membership for coaching, like the same with anything. So it's like, I reckon you'll eventually filter so that it's only that. And then you probably don't want to deal with the people who are like a little bit like, oh yeah, I'll pay you like X, Y, Z, and then I'll decide after that if it's worth it. Like those clients are a waste of time. And eventually once you get enough of the good ones, you'll just be like, no, fuck the people that are smaller. So it's good to see that you're slowly increasing your value and you're understanding your worth, which is elite.
Exactly.
So, good work.
Yeah. And I know you had, not sure if you still do it, but you had a guarantee for Hustle Squad where if you don't profit, you'll pay them out $500 just for wasting their time, right?
Yeah. Taken away now. It's still there, but it's longer. So it's like, it used to be first month, if you don't make your course fee back, full refund of the course and $500 for wasting your time. Now people watching that will be like, oh, you're just scamming people, you've taken it away. Wrong. The reason why is because a lot of people come in and they're like obsessed with making money straight away.
I was about to say
which
that,
we don't want, because we've changed the way, like we have a heavy focus on defense, sustainability, setting up accounts. And if your focus is on making profit, you delete like that focus and you get into some other rabbit hole, and then you lose an account or you become obsessed with it and it goes away from like what the main process is, which is the long term. So it's now, I think, 2 months course fee, and I think the same offer, or maybe 3 months, I can't remember, but it's irrelevant. Like if you have a 3 month approach rather than a 1 month approach, you're going to have better results than someone with that. So that's why.
So I was going to say so I have a guarantee for my service as well, which is a number of qualified leads depending on like the area and whatever. But as I said, I do these sales calls, right? Like I don't just sign clients out of nowhere, like from an email or a text. Like they get on a meeting with me to see if I can even help them. or I see if we're a good culture fit. And if they are obsessed with the guarantee, like talking about the technical specifics of it, I just know that they're going to be like a really shitty client
Pain
to
in the
have.
ass, man.
So
What are some examples like someone might say, like a potential client would say, like
they'll say like,
I want $5,000 profit from paid ads or something like that.
They're like,
or-
if I could get them 10 leads, if 8 of them should convert into listings, which would be like 100K for them.
Yeah,
So it's like, bro, like
That's not
be
realistic.
realistic and like,
Okay.
basically that's how.
We've
how
had
it goes.
people like, not many, but like people obsessed. It's like, if I don't make the money, will I get refunded? And it's like,
It's like, why even thinking about that?
I'm just like, man, like, don't buy it.
You're in,
like,
you're in it
literally
for
don't buy it.
the wrong reason.
Correct. You're here to sort of exploit.
We get some people that come
things.
through and they'll be like, oh, like they'll sign up on a weekly or something. And generally speaking, that's sort of a characteristic of like us going, all right, this person's potentially not here for the right reasons because they got a short-term mindset. And we'll say to them like, oh, think about upgrading to a monthly. We want to change that mindset. We want to be here for the right reason. And they'll be like, oh, well, if I make money this week, I might upgrade to a monthly. Or they'll say something like that. And it's like,
Don't waste
you
your
haven't got,
time.
you haven't got your mindset right. Like that's not the right approach. Like you're here to like, you're trying to like tick boxes from day 1, day 2, day 3. It's like we're thinking 6, 12 months in the future. That's what you want to be
someone
looking
bought a
towards.
weekly last week. I hate to like talk about clients, but he bought a weekly and then he couldn't get into the tipping channel because he didn't follow the instructions like literally within an hour, like for Moonee Valley on Friday night and for Saturday. And he couldn't follow because he thought he wasn't in the tipping channel when he already was. And he's like, I want a refund straight away. And it's like, no, like you need to be here for like, cool, you can be here for a week, but you're not even supposed to be following in the first week. You're supposed to be setting up your accounts. And even before watching any of the videos, he wanted to just bet and tip. And it's like, nah, you're here for the wrong reason. So we do get that. Less so now, I think, because of the way the content is like very clear that we're not a quick fix short-term approach. But as I said, like we've definitely changed our agenda to a target smarter and long-term approach people rather than sort of instant gratification people. So
So I'm trying to think like with real estate, right? Because generally speaking, majority of the people that I know that work in real estate work for an agency, right?
Yeah.
So are your typical clients working for an agency or are they generally working by themselves, working for themselves?
I get a bit of both.
You got a bit of both?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I work with individual real estate agents plus owners of an agency or like they're the only rep in their company type thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough.
So I can do both.
Yeah, oh, that's nice.
because a lot of real estate agents are on a salary and then a lot of them are commission only.
Yeah.
So what do you find? I don't know if you've noticed a difference, but like, do you find more like, what's the difference in the commission only clients versus the salary ones? Are they different in like the way they are, or?
I don't usually know like
Or they don't tell you?
all of like the whole structure of their payment, whether it's like a small salary plus commission. But I think like if they're more commission only, I think usually they'd be working harder and they're probably the people who I'd personally want to work with more because there's more incentive for them to try and make more money, I guess.
Yeah, interesting. Higher upside and I guess higher downsides.
Yeah, I love that. Like, I love sales. I love commission only. I love like getting paid what you're worth. Oh, I was gonna say like when I was doing this system, I knew I could never go back to like a per hour job ever. Like I'd have to do sales or something similar because when you're part of the system doing $100 unit size, making 2K days
it's hard
in like
to
6
justify.
hours, it's like cool. Can I go back to my construction job making 31 an hour? Like doing the same thing, even some people would be working harder and less harder, but they're getting paid the same amount.
Yeah.
I did not like that at all.
Yeah.
So do you not like the no upside of an hourly rate? Is that what it mainly is?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I mean, there's a number of factors. I was like that from a young age as well, after match betting especially, and I've never really worked anything since like that.
It comes with its pros and cons.
Yeah,
there's the comfort, there's the
there's
safety.
the comfort,
like that's what a lot of people like. I watched Dana White the other day say something on obviously the UFC, whatever owner, CEO, whatever.
CEO.
He said a lot of people say they want to work for themselves, but then they don't actually understand how hard it is to do that. And then you see it, like a lot of people don't like their jobs, but then like they don't actually do anything. Like they're just still in their job because it's safety net. They get 70, 80K a year, whatever. They go to work, they can pay off whatever they need to do. But to actually like do shit for yourself, like you understand it, and we respect anyone who goes out on their own and tries to do things, because
we respect other people as well.
of course, but like we have a special like respect for people who are go-getters who have a crack. And like at the end of the day, like you could go back to your construction job and make, I don't know, 1,500 a week or whatever and be comfortable, but you've chosen to have a crack and have a crack at business and life, and that's sick.
Yeah. Like speaking of, like, I don't look down on anyone who's working an hourly job. It's just like, I don't know how to say this without sounding like I have a massive ego, but like I'm just wired differently. I think that's just it. I don't look, I have mates who I respect just as much.
That's not like, arrogant or egotistical. That's reality. That's how you feel, bro. We're the same. Like,
I was just not happy myself. But I'm not saying like everyone has to be like me.
I've always known, I've always thought for a few years particularly, is that it's like, I'm just like, I don't want to work for someone else. It's as simple as that. Like, I want to work for myself, and I really like the idea of you get out what you put in, as you were sort of touching on before. And it's like, if you're starting to not get it or get out what you put in, then it's like, fuck that. And it's not as motivating. I find for me particularly, it's like, so I worked at a bank for a couple of years. I've worked in an engineering firm for a little bit, like worked for other people, worked in big companies. And I found that I wasn't getting the best out of myself when I was working for someone else, because that desire and that motivation to grind isn't there, because it's like
you're working for someone else.
You work with someone else and you're looking at the clock and going, all right, I just got to put in another 15 minutes and I get to clock off. When you're working for yourself, you're like, I've got 15 minutes to finish this before I have to go to dinner or something like that. And that's the difference. It's I have to get there, or I've got to get there. And it's like those two, it's a mindset difference. It's a difference in like your motivation, but then it just drives you to grind harder, wake up earlier, work later. And like, I think that's just more enjoyable.
Yeah, so I was gonna say that was one of the main reasons why I didn't like continue with the system, was because I felt that with the system I was lazy. I was making bank just from Saturdays and Wednesdays, and basically I started my business 2 months before I quit the system, and in those 2 months I did like no work basically, because
for your business,
for my business, because there was no incentive for me to make money, because I was already making so much money. Well, so much as a kid staying at home.
You're making, making plenty.
Yeah. So there's no incentive, no urgency for me to work hard in my business. Which I messaged you about saying, so that's why I decided to stop the system.
We'll put your message on the screen, because it's pretty deep, like long message.
So I was saying,
like the urgency.
Yeah,
like,
the
so
urgency.
you're making coin, but you're like,
So in my business, which I knew that was a long-term thing, not match betting, I wasn't doing any work because I was making so much from the system. So if I stopped the system, I had no income, I'd be forced to.
Forced out of fashion.
I love this. This is literally the reason I stopped match betting, because I was just making fucking stupid money. And then I was like, bro, I'm not happy. I don't have any goal. And people don't get this. They think it's bullshit. Like, bro, I was fucking not depressed, but I was like not happy. I had no goals at all with anything, from gym to fucking life. I had no idea what I wanted to do.
I remember in 2020, particularly when we were like during COVID, when we were having those days where we're just making like 5K days following the system. And you were like, I need to stop. And I just, because I was relatively new to match betting, that I hadn't been doing it for like 12 months at that point.
So I don't even remember saying that to you.
But I remember it. I was like, is this guy for real? What do you mean? Like, because you were, at that point, you were building Hustler. You were building Hustler, and you were building the course. And obviously, like, you know how long it takes to build content. Like, you're building hour-long videos, like takes hours, and you were like prioritizing match betting over it, and you were getting like frustrated. I was like, bro, we're making like 5K a week.
So the free course was built in May 2020. And I said Platinum would be ready in like 3 weeks. And the 2 month period where we fully hammered the system, like pre-system being live, I did 0 for Hustler. And the Platinum course got released in like August or September. It was like 2 months delayed, and people were waiting. And that was purely because I'd gone and made like 35K in fucking 8 weeks doing the system.
Which sounds elite, but
what happened then?
What's that going to do?
Cool, I made 35K.
You wouldn't be here right now if you had kept match betting.
And then I just stopped, because the reason, like I understand how I think and how I work. For me to get anywhere, I need to like either not lose something or lose money. Like I had lost 16K trading Forex before Hustler was made. That then made me make Hustler. Some people don't need to lose 20K or whatever to do something, but like I have to cut it like you, 0, all or nothing. I can't do both. So that's how I am. So like now, if I want to match bet, I won't want to match bet on a $20 unit size. I'll have to do like 250 to actually do it. So I choose not to because I understand what that's going to do to my life and take away the energy from my business. So it's interesting to hear that from someone else, and I guess nice to know that you understand that feeling as well.
So like, is there any, like, because you sort of talked, you were like, you had a bit of doubts whether or not you should have done a bit of match betting. Like, what are your feelings there? Like, would you go back to it? Is there like, do you feel like you should have done more? Or are you like happy with the way that you're, like the decisions you made sort of, what was it, 10 months ago, 12 months ago?
Yes, I'm pretty happy with the decisions I made, but I was usually just working Monday to Friday. So on Saturdays, I could have definitely done the system at a $50 unit size easily. $100 maybe, because I'd have to mug throughout the week. But but I guess the main reason was because I needed that urgency, because I had a shit ton of savings from the system. So I needed to know that, I'm fucked. I have to make my business work because there's no other option. The thing is, I had options because I had a shit ton of savings and I wasn't working at all. So,
that's sick. You had that, I don't know, you had that freedom to do that, like that ability to have that, like,
you got a cushion.
The urgency's there, but you've got the cushion in case shit hits the fan, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And like, but you put yourself in that position. You got yourself into that position to do that.
Invested $1,000 when you had 2.5K savings.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
And like, touching on what I was saying before, it's like people, they're working full time, but they don't have that ability to take a plunge because they got the kids or a mortgage. And
They do, but it sounds like a risk.
Yeah.
Like I always reference Jackson. He was making like $3K a week electrician. He fully quit his job, went and worked, I think it was $18 an hour for a cafe because he knew he wanted to run a cafe and make a cafe business. Next minute, he's gone from making $3K a week to 18 an hour. He like forced himself to adapt, because if he was still doing the 3K, he wouldn't have built his business. It's the same principle.
Yeah.
But no, interesting. I want to talk about the scamming that you got.
Yeah. Okay.
How did that go down? And how did, like, tell us the full story from how you discovered the service, where it was in your sort of journey in match betting, like, and how it went down.
Yeah. Okay. So basically, I think I should touch on like mugging. What I realized was I could just follow tips of
But before we go on, like it's spot on.
That's from a robotic.
Yeah.
He's fully like, it's very clear. Like if someone did this with a temptation to gamble, it doesn't work. You're fully robotic. Like
you have to understand all the principles.
You got to be very experienced. Like, yes, talked about no lay horse promo method. People who have just joined out there that are listening, or people that are, just getting the feel of things. We don't teach this for a reason, because it is high risk, high reward sort of operations.
There's so much assumed things happening that like probably 20 checkboxes that he hasn't even mentioned that he's just assumed because he knows it. There's a lot of common thing. Like people go, why don't you just do that? It's like, well, hang on, you got to do and until you've done all those things, you no chance it won't work.
So continue. I just wanted to disclaimer that one, because I don't want people to go out there and be like, I'm just going to start punting shit, because that's when all of a sudden, as soon as you
shit blows up.
Obviously, the more structure, or the less, I guess it's less structure when you're not using Betfair, in terms of the sense of you're not as rigid. More like you're gonna have more fluctuation. You're gonna have more variance.
Yeah.
You're gonna miss on 30 bonuses, and then you're gonna
guessing.
hit 3 in a row, and so a lot more emotion comes into play, and then obviously that's where the biggest issue can come. But continue. Sorry.
Yeah. All good. Yeah. I was just So basically, you'd be able to handle the variance, have the bankroll, make sure you're doing it sustainably.
Correct. Yeah. So tipping services.
Yeah. Okay. So I bought a few tipping services. Same way like I found JP, like off TikTok, like this guy saying this. But JP mentioned, if you are gonna follow a tipping service, you have to look at their track record.
Yeah.
They have to have every tip like on a spreadsheet from a long term, right? Okay. So I first of all bought this guy. I think maybe he had like 3-4 months worth of results. I thought that was long enough.
What were the results?
Oh, he was making
like slips, or were they spreadsheets?
Spreadsheets.
Horse racing, sport.
Just sport.
Sport. Yeah.
Usually AFL.
We can block this out, but just for my sake, and it's Bet with Darren.
No. So there was a guy before.
Okay.
Have you heard of that?
Is that
He's definitely gone now. But
I think I know. Was he like a young 20-year-old
something like
WA guy?
No. He was.
Was he teaming up with like?
Don't think he was
a USA guy?
No.
Yeah, I remember that, but I can't remember exactly.
Anyway, this guy, I honestly like made bank with him. I think the month of September, I was making I think I made 5K that month. And obviously in July, I only had 2.5K savings.
Yeah. Okay.
From like my whole life, right?
Right.
That month was like insane. I was this guy
full-on
from the
gambling.
mugs, plus the system was
what-
making me a K, like 5K in that month of September.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I realized this guy was profitable for me, and he was doing my mugs. It was sustainability, right? And then I guess I came across another TikTok. Bet with Darren. We can blur it out maybe.
No, don't. I think it's deleted anyway.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
Who cares?
it doesn't really matter. But yeah.
Yeah, so he was doing the same thing, and he actually had like results like on Instagram. It was like the slips, right? But I made sure that it was legit because I joined his free thing. First of all, he was doing like one free tip per week or something, and yeah, he was winning everything. Like he had like a 30 win streak. I think that was like the low key gambler inside of me, just like wanting that like quick win or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I joined his VIP service on Telegram. And then like, yeah, I asked him, I was like, all right, so I have 10K, like what should my unit size be? And then he said, you should have 3% of your bankroll, which is what? Like,
It's high.
yeah, like $300 or some shit.
Yeah.
So I think I did $200, but no, first of all, I did $50 for a week.
Yeah.
Made I think I turned that into a K or some shit. Because he was in the short term doing really well. Right?
Oh my god.
And I was like, fuck. No, like I just did the most degenerate thing ever. Basically, I was like, okay, I'm making this amount of money with a $50 unit size. Imagine if I quadrupled my unit size, I'm making 4 times the amount. And of course, I got unlucky with the low with the shit variance, and he went down 30 units basically
On $250
unit size. So 6K over 2 days, right?
Over 2 days.
6K down the Google.
And I think in total it was like 8K. I think it's 8.5K because I only
Out
had
of how much
1.5K.
you'd made already? Like, so you'd made what, 10K at this point?
A bit, no, I made less. Plus, I was still working a job, but not making that much. Yeah, I had a 10K bankroll down to 1,500 basically.
Yeah,
and I think another factor was the system had a bad day as well.
Yeah.
So
She's copping hours left, right, and center.
yeah, so that was like a really dark time in my life. I didn't tell anyone.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone knew. I think my brother was like low-key, like something's wrong.
Something's up.
But yeah, I was like,
What is
I couldn't sleep, bro. I couldn't look at my mom in the face. Another thing was, I loaned money off my mom because
we can laugh about it now. Because
yeah, of
it's
course,
like
I don't mind talking about this.
Yeah. Obviously, it wouldn't be funny at the time.
Yeah. So I loaned money off my mom, a grand. So because in the hustler, I mean, yeah, basically they teach, not withdrawing for sustainability reasons. I told my mom, explained to her like, I need to get my money to Betfair, blah, blah, blah. I'd rather not withdraw. So can you give me money for Betfair to work? So I can
I reckon I
continue
did that
late.
with my parents early.
Yeah.
Betting
So
days. Yeah.
she's like, yeah, that's fine. Like, just pay me back. It's all
Yeah.
good, right? And then I lost this money, and I couldn't sleep. I couldn't look her in the face.
Did you tell her in the end or no?
Nah, I still haven't told her.
She
Don't think I
doesn't
will.
know.
But
Yeah.
maybe she sees this podcast. But
Yeah. Oh, it's all well and good
Yeah.
now though, but yeah.
do you want me to tell you what you sent me on October 2015?
yeah, I spoke to JP. I was like,
After this?
I'll read the message.
Yeah.
I read the message.
Yeah, read it.
Okay,
Yeah.
is it up to that bit yet? Or you got more to tell before you called me?
no, it was already, I was after that.
So he's messaged me. He goes, "Hey mate, I know you're busy, but I really need to have a call with you. I booked it for Sunday, 2:00 your time, as it was the earliest time, but I would prefer earlier. So let me know if you're available." I said you're better off booking with Maxi Bonds, he was taking the calls, and you're like, "No, it's extremely personalized question. It's got nothing to do with match betting. Not a question really. I'm more seeking advice on what." And want you to somewhat guide me through the current situation. Definitely cannot message to the Discord. So I said, call me. I'm driving now, and we had a chat. And I remember you were fucked. Like you were in a bad place.
A
And
really bad
actually,
place.
I was
No
actually
shit.
in a shit place too. I was actually my current fiance Laura wasn't talking to me at the time. I tried to reach out and get back with her, and ultimately she wasn't talking to me, so I was fucked as well. And I was driving, coming back from a shit time as well, and I'm like, oh, we'll just help this guy out. I may as well make myself feel better. And then I can't remember if I told you, I said drop your unit size on the system back to 20 because you had $1,500, and then I remember talking to you a week later and you didn't drop your unit size.
Yeah.
You kept it at 50 and we had to fill up and you'd like doubled your bankroll again.
Yeah.
So you got lucky. You could have actually
lucky,
gone and
yeah.
fucking had 0.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you would be fine anyway. But it's
Yeah.
just funny how things panned out. So what did you learn? And after that, what happened? Like you got down to 1500. What happened after that?
Yeah, so I got scammed. Is really dark days.
So would you consider it like, would you consider it a scam, or was it more mistakes on your end? Because like,
It's obviously I have that
Yeah.
mindset where everything's my fault. I take full responsibility.
Yeah, okay,
As business owners, you guys know that.
yeah, you got it.
Yeah, self accountability and all that. But
Yeah.
it's the fact that his service, he told me use a $200
That's
unit
terrible.
size.
That's just bad advice.
Which
Yeah.
Well,
I should have known.
3%
I should've
is
known
very
that.
aggressive.
3% aggressive, but
Without
it's not
promos.
stupidly
From his
bad.
from his results of like 1.5,
it
2
is,
months, he was
Nah, that's
insane, bro.
That's
Yeah,
neg-
yeah.
negligible to say.
Like
that.
he was
But that's
insane.
that's very negligible on his end. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember betting on like the weirdest markets that this guy like darts, fucking like
It's probably
table
not good for
tennis.
sustainability.
Did
Yeah.
you keep tracking after you stopped?
I definitely have my spreadsheet still.
No, as in
somewhere.
him?
Oh, he stopped and just fucked off. Like,
Yeah, so he wasn't profitable.
Really?
no, it was on the Instagram. He had
Yeah.
every single slip.
No, I remember messaging as a bowler account and being like, do you have results? And he kind of like just be like, here are the slips. It's classic. Fucking,
Yeah.
You ask any scam service that doesn't profit, they'll just
Yeah.
send you, oh, here are the slips, bro. It's like, bro, you could just post winners. It's like anyone who understands this gets it, but like people can actually get sucked in like you did. Even
I did,
after
yeah.
being part of like
Yeah.
platinum, you still got sucked in because you probably knew I got to track this, but then you got excited, and it's like this is what I mean. Like you said before, I could do it on your own, but these are the type of things that happen to people who do it on their own because they don't have the accountability or the structure to like.
Yeah.
Well, you've
keep
just got
themselves-
to always plan for the worst.
Correct.
Like anything that in any investment you have to plan for the worst because it will happen.
Yeah.
It genuinely will happen at some point, particularly the longer you do it. Obviously in a short-term period, you know, the chances of having the worst possible result in a 2-month period is quite small, right? But you're going to have the worst possible thing that you can think of in your investment will happen at some point. So you have to plan for it. And people don't think like that. Like I'm sure when you're with Bet, like classic, the way you were thinking with Bet with Darren is if I had a quadrupled my unit size, I could have made this, rather than thinking if I had a quadrupled my unit size and we had a bad week, I would have lost this. Like that's the mindset like that's a
That's
mistake
a gambler,
in your
bro.
mindset.
They put
It is
$2
a
on
gambler.
a roughie and they think I should have put 100 on. It's like, well, if you put 100 on and lost, you would have lost 100.
Yeah.
They always think of only the upside and not the downside. Which is
Would you consider yourself a gambler? Like, because like I consider like we're gamblers, like for sure.
The way we
I'm
take
definitely a
mindset.
gambler.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
definitely like I don't. Well, now I gamble like,
But, yeah.
only when I'm watching a game live, just for the suspense.
But just even
and-
like as a mindset, like in
oh,
life
definitely.
sort of thing,
I take risks all
Take
the time.
risks, yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
always
technically it's
gamble.
gambling, but like,
But
it's
it's-
like you're in control of it. I would say, it's gambling. Like I'm not
definitely
talking about
gambling.
betting, but I'm talking about like taking.
risk-taking.
It's risk
Yeah.
taking.
It's risk taking.
That's
yeah.
a better way to
I'm
describe
definitely
it.
Yeah.
I think I've always been. I remember like with my brother, like you know, let's say we were out getting sushi. There'd be one last piece. I'd always want to like paper scissors rock for the like we usually like for example we can either half it because he's my twin brother.
Oh yeah.
Or like we paper scissors rock to get the whole thing. I'd always like that upside, and I'd rather take the L than split it. I guess.
Brilliant.
And
That's so
I'll
funny.
do that with everything in
Just
life.
start hustling
basically.
him. Start
You got to be
working out.
careful
Yeah.
because I think you're very similar to me in the way I think. It's like everything's kind of all or nothing.
Yeah,
And you're gonna
I love that,
get scammed again many times in your life because the way you go about things. But it's not actually getting scammed. You're gonna make many more mistakes and you're
Mistakes,
gonna
I
lose
think,
in the
yeah.
short term. But you're gonna learn a shit ton, and then you're literally just gonna become a weapon. And
Yeah.
once you get to that point, it's just like nothing. Without sounding like you're invincible, like it's like, well, cool, shit can happen, but you can always adapt. And
I'm not sure if there's any
grow
other
from
way.
that. That's
of
how
going
everyone
about it, though,
should
in
be,
my
but
opinion.
everyone's
Like even
not.
like I'm sure as a like outside of with your own business as well, you've taken risks on whatever certain things you have. Like we've got a few risks that we're I guess copying the effects of now. Some are really positive, some are really negative. But it's like you can get advice from people and you can try and talk to as many people to mitigate those risks. But you're going to cop them, you're going to cop mistakes, and you just have to like live with it. And then next time you're just going to be better from it. Like there's no other way
It's just
about
win
it.
or learn.
Yeah.
That's all I like to say.
Like
So-
as I said, I've spent like 20K on courses
Yeah.
and mentors. You could definitely argue that I got scammed because it was overpriced. But you know, that led me to where I'm here, and I'm not gonna stop buying courses because
it got you to where you are.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
like I accept the fact that some of them may be overpriced for the value I'm getting, but yeah, it's not going to stop me from.
But you don't know it's overpriced until you buy it.
Exactly.
And if you didn't buy it, you wouldn't know. Like I said before, you could have missed out on something. So it's like, it's the unknown. You took a risk and who cares what happened from it.
You've got a cap downside for an infinite upside.
Adapt.
Essentially.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't have a it's not a sub that you're paying $5K a month for. Like it's a course, you pay it, and if it doesn't work, well, you lost X dollars. But whatever.
Yeah, it's like the EV of buying courses. I'm not gonna stop. Yeah, I was gonna say like
Life is EV.
that's me and
we love it. We love EV.
yeah, like me and my brother and some I guess match betting friends I had, like we always talk like, all right, what's the best EV play now? Like, should I Uber or take the train because of traffic? Like as an example. Like that's all we talk about. EV.
We have fine EV.
we
fines.
got
So
fines.
parking fines. So like
Parking fines and
Mikey's.
Mikey's.
So at the start when we came here, I've stopped catching the train now, but I didn't touch on for like a few months just to prove whether it would be cheaper to avoid the Mikey fine. And people will hate this because they think it's like theft, but I don't care. You don't touch on, you can get it $130.
I do the
$5 a
same
day,
thing.
$10 a day there and back.
It's like,
or do you risk getting like 27 days and
it's like
paying the fine?
30
No,
days.
I did the same at my uni parking. I never paid.
Yeah.
I've never been fined, but it's actually one of my friends who's not a match better.
Yeah.
But one of my friends told me, he's like, look, it's like $6 a day or some shit. But if I just don't do it and it's like $45 fine, he's been fined once and he's been parked there like 200 times. So the EV in that is crazy.
EV's huge. That's massive EV.
So all I think about is EV. That's as I said, like match betting, I love the fundamentals. Stuck with me. I think EV
that's
was
it.
like
Like
the
that
main
is
one.
as silly
I always
as
think
it
about
sounds,
the
it is,
long term. If I do
it's
X, then like if the EV's higher than Y, then I'm going to stick with X.
Yeah.
People don't think like this.
No,
but
no, people don't.
It's the same with car insurance. Like I've got car insurance, I've got third party and full comprehensive, whatever. But I've heard people say, I will save money by not having car insurance, but when you hit someone, you're fucked. So it's like, it's a bit of it. You got it. That's a little bit of there's a higher downside with that kind of play.
Yeah.
Whereas it's like there's an unlimited amount, but it's interesting to hear such a young guy talk about everything is like numbers. Everything's like thinking about weighing up a situation, upside, downside, what can go wrong. You're always going to be successful.
Just doing things like, even like I find like I get really autistic sometimes when I'm driving. Like if I'm driving from one like point A to point B, and it's like I've taken that trip a number of times, and there's a tram on this road, and there's there's lights. I like by the 10th time I've like found the most ridiculous way to get from A to B, but it saves me like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
That's full autism.
Well, no, it's not. It's just because I do the same when I go to footy training.
It's all EV. Yeah.
Google Maps says it's 43, brother. I'm getting in 37 going that way. Fuck Google Maps, and I know that. That's just adapting to like whatever you know. It's just like critical thinking, logic. It's just it's good. Do you have any questions for us, or I was going to ask you a question at the end, but do you have any questions for us?
Not really.
No.
Yeah, it's chilling.
Anything else to talk about? I think it's been pretty
there was
I was
one
gonna
thing
say-
I did want to mention was that the sushi roll? You mentioned
sushi lay.
The sushi lay, the sushi
yeah.
and the rage lay.
Right.
Yeah, so I
Give us
used
these
to.
stories.
So I used to rage lay a lot, meaning like I just lay on Betfair, which is essentially just backing.
Yeah.
At like a really low odds, but
Yep.
I think when I was
So
tracking with the system,
Yeah.
you know, I myself would be, let's say the system's up 10 units, I myself would be 8 units because of a mistake I did, I missed a tip, or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
And that would get to my head. I think that's like the inner gambler in me, like wanting to match.
We
at
shouldn't
least
laugh
match
about
or
it
be
because
better.
people do this. Like they'll chase.
I'm
like,
sure
if they miss a
people.
tip.
There's no way I'm the only one, but I'd be like,
100%.
fuck, like I need to be on track with the system, right? So instead of backing like a favorite, I figured out Betfair and laying, and I just lay horses, like really
At
high
odds.
dollar odds.
Which
The
is-
highest one I did was like 1.8K liability,
Which
it lost, and I made like $80 from. But like,
Yeah, but you could have lost
what the fuck am I doing?
1800.
Like,
But
if you
that's
think about that.
like if that goes
Upside.
wrong, you're like, holy
That's a
Yeah.
reverse
shit.
upside
So I used to
downside
do,
play.
I used to do it a
Yeah.
lot, and I was making money. I'm not gonna lie. And
Yeah.
then one
Do
day,
not recommend.
Do not-
this
don't
by
do it.
any-
It's
It's
full
not
on
worth
gambling.
it.
It's like
It's gambling.
putting
It's full on
$80 on a
gambling.
multi and hoping
Yeah.
you win. But
As the way you described it, you're laying on Betfair on a horse at $18 or something is essentially backing it at what $1.05, like
Yeah,
$1.10,
less.
like probably
Yeah.
it's
it's
tiny.
like putting
It'd
like
be $1.
1,800 on $1.10 or something.
Yeah.
Or a bit less, $1.08, $1.06 or whatever.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
it's
it'd be
like, would you do that? Like probably not.
probably not.
Yeah. Like, yeah.
So one time I was at uni with my friends, and they're like, "All right, let's go get lunch." So I was like, "All right, sushi is like $16 for 2 8 pieces or whatever. Let me, I was like, wait, I can just lay it and get it for free. I'm sure people think like this as well. It's
Wait,
not just me. Like if I lay it and make the money, then it's free sushi. I was like, all right, let me do a sushi lay. And
Sushi lay.
I was with one of my match betting friends as well. So he kind of knew about laying. So I essentially laid, I think, $16 for a liability of like maybe just over $100.
Yeah, okay.
And the horse won, and I just lost $100.
Oh, no shit.
And I ended up buying the sushi anyway. Yeah. So it was like
minus
fuck.
116.
Yeah. And then I think I stopped from there. I know I low-key did it more. But I don't think I lost anything.
I was about to ask, did you actually
I definitely
stop
did it
there?
more.
See, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I can see the traits of you. You're very like addictive personality, obsessive about things, very high attention to detail. So like, be careful with your decisions because you can get like me, like Forex. Oh, here, cool. I do Forex. I've got like 120K in savings. I'll just lose 15K. I didn't plan to lose 15K, but like,
you talked to me about that.
But like,
that
bro, that's just how I am because I was desensitized to money at the time. Like, you don't value the money the same as if someone had 2K. You make it easy. You can make it do match betting, and then you just kind of make shit decisions. That's very dangerous as someone. So you got to be always. There's a module in Platinum that talks about valuing each dollar, and there's a guy Anton. Link it in the description. Anton Krul talks about valuing every single dollar the same. Like if I put 10K on the table right now, you shouldn't think differently if it was $1. Like, but people do, and they react differently and they feel differently about different types of money. So it's really crucial that advice to you, just from seeing, like keep level and like don't fucking get too excited about things and always analyze.
You have to have that mindset of just like, not taking risks, and like even if you've made 20K, that shouldn't change anything.
Exactly.
Like from what.
Well, that's what's the
I mean, like sure you could increase your unit size, but only by a little bit.
Look at the EV on every. I analyze every situation. What would your advice be on anyone out there who is not yet, not just match betting, but not taking risks? Like, what would you say to someone who doesn't believe this is real or doesn't think they can do it? Like, what would your advice be?
Who doesn't believe like this is real?
Match betting, like does it
match
work?
betting. Like just drop your ego, I think. Like if there's results, you do your research and it's legit. Like, where's the scam? Like, and if, like as JP said, had a guarantee, then it should be a complete no-brainer to do.
Interesting.
So even with like, the thing that I find real fascinating is you don't even get too flustered if you buy a course that in hindsight isn't necessarily worth it.
Yeah. Because he doesn't look at the cost, he looks at the long term.
I look at the skill that I'm going to get from it.
Which is
going to make me way more money than that course.
That's like top 1% type thinking.
Yeah. Because that's, I think, probably one of the biggest hesitations that we get people with Platinum particularly is they're like following on a $20, $30 unit size themselves. They've taught themselves a bit of Betfair. They haven't had any accounts banned, or they've had like a Swift bet banned or something like that. And they're like, oh, I'm cruising. And they think that they understand that they're going to gain something from Platinum. Most people aren't like, I'm not going to learn anything. They realize they're definitely going to learn something, but they're like, it's not worth $1,000 sort of thing. It's like, what would you say to those sort of people? Or would you like just buy it? Like,
honestly, like I think I have a different approach to this, but like stay broke. Like honestly, if you're not willing to take a risk, then like
that'll be the name
that's
of the
on
podcast.
you.
Stay broke.
I mean, for me, it's like if you're not willing to take the risk, then go to you. I don't care. That's got nothing to do with me. But don't complain that your life could have been better for not taking more risks. That's basically it.
Fuck,
I like it. It's
ruthless.
Like I'm gonna do my own thing. I'm gonna do my own thing.
We're gonna go a bit more ruthless. I think. I think we should. Like we should talk like that a bit more. But it's very hard.
You guys will definitely get more views on your.
We get a lot more hate, and we already get enough of hate.
Interesting, but there'd be a lot of stuff we want to say and be honest with people. But I guess
it's like I'm gonna do my own thing.
Yeah.
So I don't care what you guys do. If you don't want to take risks, then that's on you.
Is that how you approach like someone who doesn't sign with you? Obviously, you can't.
I have that mindset for sure.
But you don't say it.
I don't say it.
Because it's your client, so we can't say this to people as well. It's hard.
Yeah.
But
No, but because the way I see it is like they need me more than I need them.
Yeah.
My clients, right?
Yeah.
But do they know that?
So, in these calls, I try to position it like that. And if they don't, then like, I'm just like, cool, whatever. I'll just hop on the next call.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't faze me at all.
Yeah, it's a good way. Like if you don't care and you're not like obsessed
I'm not
about
attached to the
chasing
sale,
them,
yeah.
you don't chase them, I guess. It's
I
like,
used to be though.
yeah,
when
but
I was
because
starting
you're
out.
more like
Yeah.
forced to because you probably had less leads, less opportunity. But no, fuck, it's been a good chat.
So does this? So plug your brand.
Yeah,
Do you have an Insta?
go.
Do you have a brand? Like, do you have
Or not yet?
or is it
Not yet.
No,
I'll just
no,
keep
okay.
it how it is.
Keep it how it is.
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say,
Can anyone contact you privately if they want to be interested? Like, is there an email
Gator
or something?
Gator Buger on the
Gator
Telegram.
Buger on
I think.
Is that a username?
Yeah, at Gator Buger.
We'll
Yeah.
put it in the description.
in the
of-
Discord as well. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, what are your goals? Do you just want to keep growing that? Do you want to get more people working for you? Do you eventually want to have your own sort of like lead agency, marketing agency,
Yeah,
sales
well,
agency?
that's what I've got now.
Well,
basically.
but like, yeah.
But yeah,
Just keep
probably
growing that
just keep scaling,
Yeah.
keep doing what I'm doing on a higher volume.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Sick.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your life goals apart from making money? Do you eventually want a family or you don't
Yeah,
thinking about that
sure. I don't. I think about it. Just
Nah,
yet, but
yeah. He's
yeah,
thinking
to
about
be
that.
fulfilled.
yet? Oh, I'm
I don't
31.
think.
31.
Yeah.
When did you turn 31?
September.
Did we miss your birthday?
No,
No, we didn't.
I can't remember what we did. I think I was just working in here.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe I wasn't here. No,
I left
yeah,
4
do
days later to go to Iceland.
Oh yeah. Okay, no, I do remember. Yeah, 31.
Yeah.
Jesus. Oh, hell.
Wait, something I wanted to touch on, which I think
Yeah.
we forgot to say
Yeah.
was, yes, I have a few matched betting friends.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this.
Oh
from, yeah, so like they do the horse promo method. And when I was no laying with you guys, I was showing them like, oh, I just no laid this. Like, look, they thought I was the biggest degenerate ever. Obviously, I explained to them, I told them about you guys, which I don't know if they ended up like becoming a subscriber, but
Yeah.
yeah, they thought I was the biggest degenerate. They're like, you know nothing about EV, blah, blah, blah. Like they're calling my brother and saying like, can you watch out for him? Because, you know, I don't want him to turn into a degenerate gambler.
How quickly how like early on was this? Was this just when you joined the system, like straight away, or was it like months after?
No, yeah, pretty much when I just joined.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they thought I was the biggest degenerate, and I was trying to tell them. I'd never told them about the system, but I think I was going to. And then I saw one of them comment on your TikTok, and you actually made a video about it, like proving him wrong. And I was like, you know what? If my mates aren't gonna believe me, then I'll just keep it to myself. I'll just make bank.
Yeah.
When I was saying like, oh, I made like a K today, they're like, no, you didn't, because the horse promo method.
Yeah,
you can't do that.
Minimal upside with
Like,
the horse
yeah.
promo method.
Low down.
Yeah, so I just basically trolled them like for the next like year and a half.
Would
basically.
they hate hearing? Have they come around now?
I'm gonna show
Like-
them this
Yeah.
for sure.
So
Yeah.
they're still.
I'm still
on-
friends with them.
Yeah, sure.
Some of them still match bet.
Okay.
I think one of them like had a huge operation, like
Oh right.
like he got like 10 identities or some shit, but I think he got them all banned, so he must be fucked.
Yeah.
But,
Okay. Yeah. Scaling. Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's even more incredible if he was scaling and doing it at high level and still doing
promo
horse promo method.
no, I think no. So this was when I told him about you guys eventually.
Oh, okay.
And then he started no laying. He's like, "Fuck, you're right. I can't believe I've lost all this money."
But like Lenny had days where he lost, was it 5 grand in a
5K,
day?
yeah.
He lost 5, and obviously he was doing it. He probably had a 50K bankroll.
People will think that's gambling, but like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
10% of his bankroll.
You've got to accept that you're going to have, if you can handle 2K, like at the moment, like this is a bit of a sidestep. I'm currently testing a bit of a no-lay, non-promo method to basically for sustainability. I'm just testing it out myself. I've been testing it out for a couple of months, just trying a few things. And I'm probably roughly even, I reckon, for the last sort of 5 months that I've been doing it. But the last week I've hit a massive negative variance. The last 2 weeks, I'm down about $1,000 from this non-promo sustainability sort of thing that I'm testing. And it's like, it's played on my mind a little bit, but I'm pretty okay with it because it's like, you know, I'm okay to go down
yes.
a grand. But like for someone, if that was me 3-4 years ago,
You would have changed what you
I'd
did.
be shitting myself. I remember losing $1,000 3-4 years ago, and I'd have a breakdown for a week. I'd be like, oh fuck.
You
like,
had a call and you called me and you said, what did you say? Like,
I lost 1,500 one day or something.
yeah, you
I
called
can't
me
remember.
like, I said,
Oh yeah. I said to you, I was like, man, like I've fucked up. I lost 1,500, and at this point, I'd made like 30 grand match betting, and you were like, yeah, but how much have you made? I was like, oh yeah, like 28 grand. He's like, yeah, shut the fuck up. Like literally just like,
no, you need
it
to
was
tell
brutal.
people, like,
Yeah,
it needs to be brutal to
Yeah.
give advice to people who fuck up. It's like, look at the bigger picture. It's
Yeah.
like, zoom
Yeah.
out.
But you got to, like that's essentially, coming back to what we were saying, like you've got to be able to handle, to do what you're
Yeah.
doing there, you've got to be able to handle the variance. And
Yeah.
that's 90% of people, in my opinion, can't do that.
Exactly. Like I knew I should have been doing it like 6 months before I actually did it. It's
Yeah.
just because I was super scared and I understood the variance.
And so that's the
I
thing.
built my bankroll up first and I was like, okay, it's time to do it.
But not only
It's
that, you
game
tested
changing.
it. You
Yeah.
tested it. Like you
I
said,
just
you
looked at
knew
my
you should have been.
spreadsheet.
Yeah, and you look at it.
So there's a lot of things I tested low key. Like obviously do sustain, like I was mugging at a 50-50 ratio, but I could have done it better to not get banned. But I thought of the EV of just fucking losing the account and just withdrawing it.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah, and
So-
that's obviously with the assumption that you got more accounts.
Yes.
And so
only do that if you have access to
only if you've got more accounts, correct.
Again, we're going through a fucking checklist that's 20 things long,
Yeah.
and we're assuming everything is correct before you've done that,
Yeah.
which is what I was saying before. And a lot
Yeah,
of people
it's not
see
just
it,
launching into it.
and they
like,
just do it, and it's like you've missed 20 fucking prerequisites that are going to fuck you, and it's like
you've done everything whilst it's been. I wouldn't even say it's rogue, but it's rogue compared to what we teach in our content.
Yeah.
It's not rogue because you've actually done it in a very methodical,
He's
very
tracked every
structured,
bet. It's
tracked
like
everything,
analysed
tested
everything.
it,
Yeah.
back tested it. Yeah.
Yeah. But
You have to think, right? If we had told you today when you first joined Platinum,
I'd be fucked.
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
the thing. It's like,
And that's what
we can't like generalize that kind of information, and that's where a lot of other services will, and that's why they fucking like we've had other people come from other services and they were told to follow on a $50 unit size when they had $500, and the kid's lost like X dollars on a day, and then he won't join us because he's got no money and his parents won't let him because the other service scammed him. It's like you need to fucking set the foundation properly first. So no, it's been a good chat.
Yeah, it's been a good chat. I think a lot of we've gone into a lot of detail for like the very elite advanced match
Yes.
bettors. There's probably a lot of people here who has, well, you know, I've already said, you know, if you're in your first couple of months, a lot of this shit you're going to be like, what the fuck? But this is the levels that you can get to for sure.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of people out there like yourself, you know, who are in Platinum and have identified, you know, better ways to do things and more profitable ways, more sustainable ways, more efficient ways to do things. And they're going to resonate a lot with, I think, the stuff that we've talked about. But yeah, for anyone that's a bit unsure, you know, just make sure you make sure you're sensible. Make
do
sure
what they teach.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do it yourself, then you need to make sure you track everything, look at it, and like
Then wait another 6 months.
basically like
Yeah.
it's you need to know what you're doing.
And then
it
wait
can go
another 6
wrong.
months.
Like,
It's good advice. Yeah.
It's like anything, like Forex testing, fucking look at it, test it. And if you think it works, back test it for 6 months, forward test it for 6 months, and I guarantee you it won't work. And in 6 months, you'll be not minus 20K, you'll be plus
even.
zero.
Yeah,
And
plus zero,
you'll be, okay, I learned something, and you're patient and whatever else. So,
Yeah.
or lose 20K and learn like he did. So, or 10K. You're doing better with Darren.
8K, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say with that, like the reason why I was investing in tipping services was because I think you guys at the system teach like minus 5% from mugs, right?
Yeah, well, it depends if they're platinum or not. But yeah.
Unless you know what you're doing. You
Yeah.
have to really know the fundamentals, know the math behind it as well. And you need to understand variance. Like as I said, I was following a tipster who only had like 4 months of track record. That's not long enough. You need like a year plus.
Yeah, I would say a year.
At
I
least,
used to say 6 months. I'd
I'd
say a year.
I'd honestly, I'd be saying 3 years, based off the fact that you see some horse tipsters that they have a plus 100 unit year or something, and 3 years later they're still marketing their plus 100 unit year from 3 years before, purely because because they're 2 years after that they've gone negative 10, negative 30, negative 50, and so they're still going on about that huge year they had, but you know, they haven't been able to repeat it.
Well,
so,
we tracked
obviously it depends on the service and stuff like that, but
we had one that we launched to platinum members and we fucked up with.
Dude, you fucked me over there. I'm not gonna lie.
fuck,
So
I actually hate to hear that.
that was at my rough spot.
Yeah.
JP did this and I lost
Well,
an
I
extra
didn't
K.
like.
Yeah,
We fucking tracked him.
that was
for
a
6
mistake by
months.
us.
Yeah.
we made
That
an
was a
error.
mistake.
But like at the end of the day,
it was like
Aus Horse tips.
yeah, so it was like really high odds. I did a $10 unit size and lost a grand from a $10 unit
he
size.
That was a
unfortunately
mistake.
fully lost the plot, the guy.
Yeah.
And we like obviously, I think I don't know how many people got on,
that's
like
not long
30 to
after.
40.
I think
number of-
it was possibly 80.
Yeah, maybe. A number of people actually made money because they fucking got lucky and stopped at
Yeah.
the right time. And we did tell people pretty early, like I identified some really like this is going like pretty deep into like admitting our mistakes and stuff. But like at the end of the day, who cares? Like
We fucked up.
We fucked up.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, we put the faith in someone else and we misjudged.
But we tracked 6 months. Like we found him out of a Facebook group. I was
Yeah.
rinsing him on a Facebook group first. Then Tom actually started talking to him.
Yeah.
Tracked him for 6 months.
spoke to him, had
like
lengthy
he knew what he
conversations.
was doing. But I think the actual the
I'm not
fame
gonna-
got to him.
Nah,
or the
I think
tipping got to him.
I think there was a number of things.
Yeah.
I think it was we
Life
fucked
shit.
up. We tried to control him a bit too much.
Yeah.
And I think that fucked with him. But then also the pressure of he is now running a service,
the
as
pressure.
you're saying,
Yeah.
got to him as well.
And I think he was gambling on the tips too. And he was like at one point when I started to get a little bit fishy, like he'd have a 60 unit week. And then he'd go like minus 40 in a day. And it was like a bit fucking all over the place. So we made it clear at the start that your unit size shouldn't be like the system.
That's
Like
why I
it
did
should be like
$10.
one fucking tenth or whatever.
Yeah.
But even then it was like this guy went from that and then he'd start like, there's a couple of psychological things that I saw with him, like being obsessed with making money for everyone. Then he started apologizing. I'm going to make it all back for everyone. And once you get into like
red
proving
flag.
mode,
He got it's
It's
emotional.
like-
Remember in the chat as well, he was
Yeah.
getting emotional,
Yeah, and
like
it's like-
writing winners, and like there was at one point I remember there was one day we were down. Well, not we, but the service was down. Like it was like 8 units or something, and we mentioned something to him, and
he said,
I'm
if this wins,
Thunderstruck.
we're in front.
Yeah, I'm Thunderstruck was racing in the last race, good horse obviously, and he had 3 or 4 units on it, which is a bomb. Like he didn't drop 3, 4
At, like,
units,
4s or
at 4s, and he's
350s.
like, yeah, but we're like, oh, we're down today, are we? And he's like, yeah, but when this wins, we'll be up.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah,
like
it's emotional.
I'd
you
said
don't want
then
that
and
from
there,
your
this
service.
guy's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then Tom and Steve were a bit like, nah, back him in a little bit because it was still okay.
Yeah.
And then
JP just left. He's like,
fully
fuck
like,
this, I'm
I
done.
said, no, I'm telling every
Yeah.
person not to follow this anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
And we
unfortunately,
persisted for
I'm
like
not
a week,
comfortable.
and then we're like,
And
nah.
then fucking, he went like plus 80 and then he went minus 300. And it was
Yeah.
like, bro, this, and everyone had like been told by I think about like the even stage or minus 50 stage to
it was
get
about
out.
even.
I think I stuck on a bit longer. Just
Yeah,
me
okay.
being degenerate.
Just-
Well,
stuck
we
on
told
that.
everyone to get off.
Yeah, you
whether they
definitely told.
listened, that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
like sort of, it was a mistake. And that's like, we don't sit here and pretend we didn't ever made mistakes. Like
Yeah.
we've made many errors, but at the end of the day, it's how you respond and ultimately you learn from them. So it's like,
Like it was a big cock up, and you learn from those things.
What month was that? Do you remember?
that would have
November.
been the end of 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
it's
yeah.
around there. Yeah.
Yeah, so that happened, which kind of like obviously I was already in a bad position. I made a bit
Yeah.
from the system, but
Yeah,
yeah,
sorry
that
about
happened. It's fine. I think I had a mate whose older brother had a tipping service, lost like $500 from that.
Yeah.
But I think actually like it was like minus 2.5%, so I was still okay with it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
From mugging perspective, which
Yeah.
is the reason why I was doing it in the first place, right?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And that's the thing. That's the mindset that you've
Yeah.
approached it with, which in itself is a very, like, it's the correct mindset. It's a very structured mindset. It's like you've got realistic expectations about what you're trying to get out of that particular service. And so you're not setting yourself up for failure. You're not going to get emotional. You're not going to, like, when shit hits the fan, you're not going to, shit's not going to really hit the fan, I guess.
I just got a convo with you. You said, what do you think of poker? I've bought in $200 every time for about 8 times. My overall profit is $1,500, winning that extra $300 last night. Consistently dominating in poker nights with the boys as well as Cass. Do you reckon I have positive EV? And what would you have done in terms of cashing out and buying any? I said, I have no idea about asking the wrong guy. What happened with that?
Oh, I think it was like I made $300. So mine's 200. I made 300 profits. I had 500. So I cashed out 200 and rebought in again, and then lost it. So
this
I
is
only
with your mate?
profited.
is
with
this at the
100.
casino?
This is a casino with I think a mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, fuck.
I'd say that the EV would be very negative at the casino, but with your
Yeah.
mates, it'd be very positive.
yeah.
Because they take 10% of every pot.
Yeah, and you got professionals playing there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like we're going to
Speaking
play a
of,
chess game
yeah.
after. And I hope you, I don't know, I want to try and beat you, but apparently your ELO is 1600, so you should
On
beat me.
chess.com, the one normal. It's not
Gator,
Blitz.
you go chess.com.
It's something else.
We'll put it anyway if people want to play you. But I'll play you. We'll post it. We'll video it if you
Yeah.
want. Hopefully I beat you. But I think the way you think, it's. I would love to play poker. I would love to learn. I don't know
Yeah,
how to
poker's
play.
a sick game.
I think I'd love it because
I think
of
that's
the
like
way I
the
am
inner
as well.
gambler in me for sure.
But
it's more like
it's very mathematical. It's
psychological
very
aspect
logical.
of
Psychological, right?
Yeah, and there's
it's
a lot
like-
of psychological.
It's like bluffing and sort of it's understanding the way people think. Which is
But
probably-
like that's a sort of at a deep level, poker is very logical.
Yes.
Like depending on, I don't know, I know very little about it, but I have a mate who plays a bit and he tells me a bit about it. And it's very much like if you're sitting on this seat and you've got these cards and you're playing against someone who's sitting in that seat, the best play, there's an EV play.
There's an EV play.
All the time there's an EV.
Everything's EV.
Everything's
It's
EV.
like chess combos. The first opening, there's a specific way that you should learn and play that according to the statistics. It's whether you can learn
But
all
it's
those
whether
fucking things.
you can like calculate the
still do
odds
it.
and hit go in a fast-paced
interesting.
environment. Yeah.
Wait, so what did I say? How much was I up from the cast? Because that was 2021. I would have been.
This is December
just
18,
19.
2021. My overall profit now is 1,500.
Yeah. Okay.
Winning that extra 300 last night. So you've played 8 times for $200 every time buy-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm not sure what happened after that.
Yeah. So 2021 as a 18-year-old and like just turned 19, I think I made like 1.6K in the cast.
That's pretty good on poker.
Oh, speaking of, when I had $200 cash, one of the times, when I lost that money from Bet with Darren, the 8K in 2 days, I had $200 in the cast and went in the cast and lost it all. Just like trying to win it back. Yeah. It was a really dark time.
Man, that's like,
and
even though like you're so like, I mean, obviously now you're a different person than what you were then, and you probably.
I think I was the same person, just I was a bit more emotional. Like
but that's what I mean. Like if the same thing happened now, you might get sucked in a little bit, but probably not to the extent that you got sucked in.
Definitely
there.
not.
Yeah.
Yeah, and obviously I did the tipster there, that didn't work. I had my mate's older brother who was a tipster, that didn't work. Oh, also I went to the Ascot Races, and on a Saturday.
Start laying shit live or something.
No.
Get the binoculars out.
I think I was hungover maybe, and I think I spoke to one of you guys. I was like, I'm going to the races. What should I do?
Yeah.
And you guys told me, probably just don't punt. Like, just enjoy it. I didn't listen to that. I definitely tried to get on the tips. You guys had like a negative 11 day or some shit.
Yeah. I was probably tipping.
That's like after bonus bets. So you can imagine what that did to my bankroll.
Non-promo, you've taken it.
And I was drunk and I missed some winners as well. So I did even worse than you guys.
Yeah.
No, I think you guys did. I was on negative 11.
Yeah, okay.
You guys did like negative 6 or something. But that's... Yeah, so I recommend if you're going to the races, don't get on the system.
Yeah,
just enjoy it. Like,
yeah. What would you say? Like, because obviously there's the reason I imagine that you follow that day is FOMO, right?
Yeah, for
like
sure.
You're like, well, I don't want.
It's like spring. It was like a big
FOMO
day.
is a full-on killer.
Yeah.
So what would you say to people who are like, because that's FOMO for sure. People are like, oh, no, I got to follow, and they'll like they won't take a day off, or they're going to the beach with their missus, or they're going shopping, but they're trying to get the bets on, and then same shit happens, or they're having a few beers, like.
I say just real life is more important. That's the other thing I was gonna say. I probably missed about 1 in 4 Saturdays just because it was actually one of the guys in Platinum. Can't remember what his name was.
GC.
No, not GC. It was maybe it was, but he said like, I quit match betting. Here are some takeaways I have.
Oh, I know who that is. That's
Flying something or maybe.
Keep going, but
yeah, basically he said real life is more important.
Yeah,
like, put real life over match betting. Yeah. And there was a lot of times where, the boys would go out, and we'd do something during the day, and I'd say, no, I've got work, which is this, right?
Yeah.
And like maybe it'd be a bad day, and I'd be like, fuck, I could have been doing this, not losing money on the system, but enjoying time with my friends.
Yeah.
And
that's important for sure.
Yeah. So I realized, okay, real life's more important. If I've got an event on, I'll take that first over punting. And if I lose a negative 20 day, plus 20 day, then so be it.
100%.
Yeah, I found it.
So,
it was Parabill.
That's
He said money isn't everything. He said Trumpy's tips, or as you would call it, printing money. If you're doing the horse premium method and you have a nice bankroll, there's no reason you shouldn't be doing it.
And that's very helpful.
Yeah, for sure.
One thing to take away, do not let match betting and the profits take away from other areas of life. Don't not attend social things on the weekend because you have to do horse promos. Don't be afraid to miss a weekend because of potential profit for a mate's birthday or to visit your mum or whatever it may be. I'm sure most of us have had this under wraps, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's some lads in here that could use this reminder. Money isn't what life's all about. He actually quit. He made I think 40K in 8 months. He quit because his brother was a full-on gambler and he was living in the same house and he felt bad making all the money that he was from the system. and then his brother losing money. So he quit the system because he didn't want that.
Damn.
I mean,
That
kudos.
sums it up. That's it
Like,
sums up
yeah.
his
And
whole
that's like-
message.
Yeah, it's fucking.
Yeah.
It's shit that he had to stop. But obviously, I don't know. I haven't spoken to him. I might message him and ask him how it turned out. But it's good that he potentially helped his brother because of that.
Yeah, I was gonna say like when I was doing the $100, sometimes $150 unit size, I would mug and convert my bonuses during the day
Yeah.
for the whole 6 hours. So
You're flat
it's
out.
yeah, I couldn't eat. Like my family's having brunch on a Saturday, right? And I'd say like, no, I'm busy.
Working, yeah.
And
It's hard.
my mom got really pissed. She's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm making money." But
Yeah.
at the end, now I realize like, fuck, I could have spent all this time having brunch with my family, but no,
Yeah.
I'm match betting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can all relate to that.
100%.
Like I remember probably most Saturdays, like you even sometimes when we tip, it's like you get in the office, you don't eat until fucking 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or like you don't
exactly.
even eat till 6. It's like, what do
Yeah.
you mean you don't
If
eat?
you
It's
don't
like
eat-
takes 3 seconds to eat, but it's like you're so in that
Yeah.
you just like, yeah.
And the races
Forget
just
about
keep
it.
coming. Like once the races start, game over.
Everything
Unless
else
you
is
got
a
some
blur.
food there sitting next to you.
Like
yeah.
even I sometimes come in and I want to like we're tip sometimes or whatever. And I try and say I'm going to do work during a Saturday, like other work, like editing or something. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
it just doesn't get done
Nah.
because it's just like it's fucking
Yeah.
you're in, you're on the zone.
No,
So,
you
what's
got
up
to
with
keep
the
that balance.
okay, out of storage. When did that happen?
Oh,
I don't know, probably just then.
yeah, no idea. Oh, well.
Oh well.
Oh, we've got the wide anyway. We'll probably wrap it up then.
Yeah.
'cause-
Yeah.
Do you have more questions?
Oh, I wanted to say, so yeah, obviously I've got my match betting mates
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
who,
yeah.
so they thought that you guys were. I said like, why didn't you follow the system?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I thought they were scammers. Just the typical like,
But they knew match betting works.
They knew
Did
match betting works,
Did they know
but
that
they-
we were match betting? Like,
yeah,
we were
yeah,
match
I think
bettors
so.
essentially. Like,
yeah, but anyway, I eventually told them about you guys, and like,
Yeah.
oh shit, maybe you were right, but I think it's too late.
At
'cause
least
got
they
all
admitted
their
it. At least,
bonus
like,
bags,
yeah.
all the bonus. Sorry, all their accounts got
Banned and
banned.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I've got like other friends who are just normal, like, you know, on Saturdays. It's so funny because if I'd be dutching something or I'd show them like, oh
bet.
look, I bet 100, I
yeah,
bet
yeah.
$1,000 on
Yeah.
Carlton to win,
Yeah.
and they're like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
Like,
full on
yeah.
questioning.
Like, what are you doing? Like,
Yeah.
you're crazy, bro.
And you
I show them
like,
my balance because I never withdrew. Like my
Yeah.
sports balance had like 7K. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
look at me, I'm balling.
Yeah, yeah,
It'd be
yeah,
so
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
They just thought I was a degenerate, but I was hedging everything.
Legit. I remember, yeah, I had a similar story. I remember I was trying to launder out of a sports bet account, and it wasn't my sports bet account, and it was a bit
Yeah.
of a high risk sports bet account, let's call it. It was anyway, so I think I had what was it? It was Port Adelaide St Kilda. It was 2021 or 2022, Port Adelaide St Kilda. And I'd loaded Port Adelaide because I wanted St Kilda to win. So I'd loaded Port Adelaide with the sports bet. I think it was like 7-8 grand or something on it, hoping that St Kilda would win, put the money in my Betfair. St Kilda butchered it. It was up in the Gold Coast. They sold the game to play the game in the Gold Coast because they thought they were going to like win easy. So they were just going to get like extra money to play in the Gold Coast. They lost by a point to Port Adelaide. I put like 14 grand into my sports bet account, and I'm sitting there like, I was at my mate's house. It was his birthday. I'm like head in hands. I'm like, oh my God. And all my mates are like, what's going on? I'm like, I just had fucking 7 grand on Port Adelaide. And they're all like, they won. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
They had no idea. They were like, one, that's fucked. Like I could tell people like this was before we were very public and stuff. So
Yeah,
like, didn't
people
really
can't
understand.
comprehend like the amounts of money that we're getting thrown through like accounts.
And they're like, he's betting it, but he's betting it on the winner. And he's like, I could just sense that people are like, this is fucked.
What the fuck's wrong?
This
Yeah.
is fully fucked.
So I got that all the time when I
Yeah,
showed
yeah.
like my bet slips. And I remember like, so this was back when I was like 18. Obviously, typical Australian lads, like we're going to punt on the footy. It'd always be before prees.
At 17, did you say so?
18.
Oh,
sorry.
18, okay.
Like
okay.
before prees on a night out on a Saturday, we'd usually have the footy on. Everyone would get their bets on.
Yeah.
I remember telling some of the boys like, multis don't work long term.
Yeah.
And one of them said, yeah, bro, I saw the video as well. I think he was referring to one of your
Okay.
TikTok videos.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I know, but like, fuck that. Like, I'm doing this for fun. And
Yeah,
I know just based on their sports bet accounts, they have like 30 promos. I'm like, fuck, you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
Like,
Heavily
surely not.
losing, yeah.
Like, it's actually fucked. Like, Australia's fucked with
What's it
gambling.
like? So, because obviously, you know, you're a bit younger. I'm 28. JP's 31. Like, betting when I was 18 wasn't massive.
It's massive.
It's
bro.
huge. Like all your mates.
All my yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
your
massive.
mates lose gambling or?
Yeah. Oh, I'm not sure now.
Yeah.
But back when we were 18, for sure, like they put like a 10 or a 20.
Yeah.
Some of the guys were doing like $50, 2 legs.
And this is how much money do they have?
They just work
2K.
normal jobs, like
Yeah.
So paycheck to paycheck.
paycheck to paycheck.
This is the thing.
It was fucked. I was telling them multis don't work long term, and one of the boys said, "Yeah, bro, I saw the video on TikTok as well, but like those guys are losers. Fuck them." And I'm like, "Who are you guys talking
We're not
about?"
That's the
fun at
worst
parties.
part because
Yeah.
they're like they're not realizing that they're getting scammed by the bookie,
Yeah.
and they're attacking us for telling them the correct mathematical information. But yet they want to prove us wrong because we're losers. Yet they're getting scammed by the bookie and they're playing the bookie's game. It's like that is full on like.
Like
Exactly.
I get it. I get like we're not fun at parties, bro. I
Yeah,
get
but
those questions, but I
eventually-
guarantee you, when we're having parties, we've fucking got more money, and the parties are very fucking fun.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
But even
like,
Yeah.
I
It's
just,
like- Yeah, I remember like he was saying like, I was like, who are these guys? And he showed me the video.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, these guys are Trumpy stips. They're a bunch of virgins. Like, fuck them. Like they're losers, bro. And I was like, yeah, fuck them. I was deep down like,
of
bro,
course.
guys
Of course,
have no
yeah.
idea.
wait, but you were
Like-
subbed.
Yeah, I was sub.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
oh, they could be right, you know, but I couldn't change them.
Just
no,
went
of
along
course.
with
And
it.
you,
That's-
I was
there's
like,
no
no,
point.
it's like there's no point of me trying to defend you guys. I was like, oh, it's true.
I feel that.
Yeah, true.
You would say something, wouldn't you? If you're in like, because I wouldn't.
I
If I
never
was in
shut
your
up.
shoes, I'd be like, yeah, fuck them.
Nah,
Yeah, like,
nah,
I'd just be like,
always-
yeah, no hope.
I tried a little
If
bit.
I disagree,
and then-
I'm
yeah,
saying
yeah.
I'm speaking up straight up.
You would be like, nah, you're fucking
Unless
wrong.
it's
Like,
at
you'd
like
just be
a
like, straight up.
family thing that I don't want to make a scene.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
I'm on my own, now they're copping it.
Yeah, they're confident. Yeah,
They're copping
yeah.
facts.
You and Tom would. I'd be more.
Well, you
so
had
like,
the girl come up to you in the bloody shop or the pub saying that what you do is a scam.
no, she didn't come up to me. I
you-
started talking.
Yeah,
to
sorry.
I was just talking to her. She didn't know like.
Yeah,
she
tell
didn't know
that
who
story
we were.
again.
Oh, she was. I just met this girl. Like, look, I was having dinner with a mate before the snow, and we was talking to these girls, and she was like, "Oh, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, I run like a gambling sort of match betting service." And she's like, okay. And I could just sense her like, okay. And it was just like, oh, here we go. And I didn't want to, but her friend kept asking questions. Her friend was very open-minded and she was actually interested. So her friend kept asking questions and I was happy to answer her questions, but her friend was also overhearing it. And I could just sense the eyes on me. And then, I can't remember the specifics. She's like, oh, so you run a scam or something. And I was just like, shut up. Like, don't, like, who are you to judge what I do when you have no idea what it works?
Yeah,
You've
it's
been
crazy.
scammed by the bookies. Like, I just was not in it. It was like, we didn't even want to talk to these girls. They come to us. I was like, fuck off. Like, I'm not putting up this shit. It's so annoying.
Yeah, I want to get like a full-on noob on here and actually get them to
Yeah,
ask
that's what I'm gonna
questions.
get, yeah, we'll
but
go,
I also
yeah.
want to get someone. I don't know how this would ever work, but like a full-on skeptic to like come in here and or talk to them somehow and post it because like people don't like. There's still people on
Get a
TikTok.
TikTok hater up.
Like Mikey, there's a guy called Mikey. Whether he's taking the piss or not, but he's still like, oh, you guys still think that bonus bets are real money? It's like, bro, you can watch a 2-minute video and you understand how the fuck bonus bets are real money
Why
once
would
you turn them
think
over.
that they're not real money?
But that's the thing. He's like, I'm like, bro, have you seen the video yet? He's like, nah, I haven't. Bro, it's fucking right there. Go and watch it. It's like they won't watch it. It's like so frustrating.
wanna know.
Whether
They don't
they're taking
wanna
the
know.
piss, I don't know. But I think genuinely people out there would rather waste like 500 comments than go and watch the video. And it's like, why? Why is it like that? But
I think they're just too skeptical and their ego, they just think like they just
Grow
don't
up.
believe it.
Yeah,
they
don't
don't
wanna
believe
believe
it
it.
because
Grow
they
up.
want to
Lose.
believe it. Yeah.
Because it's like, well, if I can't win, no one else can win. Like,
I think that's the
Yeah.
reason why my match betting friends like never
they don't want
signed
to
with you
believe that they
guys.
can win.
Yeah.
They,
don't know.
yeah. I think one of them eventually did. When I explained it like in full and everything I did, because they thought I was a degenerate gambler, even though I wasn't working a job.
Yeah.
I was always like
Just chilling out.
chilling and just buying whatever the fuck I wanted. Like,
So I have a
that's sick.
question. Are you like a not? I wouldn't say, tight ass is the wrong word, but like, do you spend? What do you spend money on? Are you like? do
just
you
like
waste
food
money
and
on
drinks.
like?
Not
shit?
not anymore.
Clothes, like
Clothes.
car. Like,
Used- when I was match betting, for sure, I was like,
what do you drive? Do you drive?
yeah, I just drive a Honda Civic. Like,
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Honda Civic, brother.
yeah, just
2008.
no, I'm pretty good. Like, I'm not stingy, but
yeah.
at the same time, like,
Earn more money, spend
yeah.
more money.
yeah, I'll like, yeah, money's not. I obviously think about things like
Yeah.
whether it's worth it. The EV of buying shit.
Yeah.
That's how I
Have
think.
you traveled? Not yet.
No, not yet.
Do you plan to?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, just gotta
Yeah.
grind out the business.
But yeah,
for
you
now.
don't have like, because
Interesting.
one thing that we've sort of talked about recently is, I guess, an attachment to money.
Yeah.
And you display the character as someone who's the opposite of
Yeah.
that. Like, you're so willing to spend money to knowing that it's going to put you in a position where you're going to be able to make more money. Whereas so many people are like, and I reckon I definitely am
It's just a
attached to
fear,
money, but
like,
like getting better at it. Yeah.
The fear factor. A lot of people get held back by fear. I think Rich Dad Poor Dad talks about this quite heavily.
Yeah.
People are just like fearful of making a fucking decision.
Yeah.
It's like rather lose than win in some cases.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
you learn more.
Yeah.
But
rather make it. They don't want to make the mistake,
Yeah.
regardless of how little or big it is. They just don't want to make it. It's like, yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
that's been a sick chat, sick podcast. Cheers for coming on, man.
Yeah, cheers for having me.
Yeah, enjoy the rest of your time in Melbourne.
Cheers.
You're heading out for any beers on Friday, Saturday night or anything?
I think Friday with a bunch of mates.
Yeah, nice. Got any places in mind?
Don't know. Chapel Street, apparently.
Chapel Street's good. Chapel Street, Richmond.
Yeah.
You can go out to Fitzroy as well, but it's a little bit far if you're in South Australia. Chapel Street, you got plenty of options
Chapels
there.
is just the king of ego, isn't it?
King of Ego.
Like the ego street.
You'll get a lot of guys driving past in their souped up cars going and like, but
I
like, there is
honestly
a bit of ego.
never
There's a lot of
been-
ego in South Australia.
Never been to Chapel Street.
You've never
Come
been?
on out. No.
Nah, you going to Revs?
As in,
you heard of Revs?
I've heard of it. Probably won't go.
Revs?
Nah.
JV loves Revs.
Oh, yeah?
He goes for the
Bro,
Thai
I've been out
restaurant
probably-
Tuesday night.
6 times in my whole life. Fuck that shit.
6 times. It's a lot.
Are you being serious? Or?
6
No.
times at Revs.
No,
Like,
no,
my
no,
mates-
no.
It's
ever.
clubbing. Maybe 10.
Oh,
He's never been a Revs.
I thought you meant
I fucking
Revs.
hate that
He'd
shit.
catch you.
Even from
Yeah,
when I
man.
was young, like,
Yeah.
I've had nights out and stuff, but it's not for me. I'm introvert.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we'll just go out for a couple beers.
Yeah.
With your mates, like, have
Yeah.
fun, man. Like, you're
Yeah.
20 if you like that shit. Go
Oh,
on,
no,
bro.
man. Fucking,
Steve
I
loves
love
it. He's the opposite of me.
Don't worry about that.
You get into beers after like a huge day.
Oh,
System.
Vino's.
Not so much now. I hate hangovers impact Monday and Tuesday too much now. So it's
Yeah.
not worth it. Like, I don't mind Sunday being lazy because it's good to be a break, like work hard Monday to Saturday, Sunday a bit chill. But then when it impacts Monday, I don't go to the gym on Monday. Tuesday I sleep in because I got pissed on a Saturday night.
It's negative EV.
It's
bro.
negative
Yeah.
EV. It's huge negative. There is positive EV there. There is area for it because you get a break, you socialise, you hang out.
Yeah.
But it's the negative EV is catching up on me.
Wait,
Got
do
a
you
bit of
guys
variance.
actually talk like this? Like EV
not,
all the time?
Not that
'Cause, like,
much,
I
but
do,
we're starting
seriously.
to.
Yeah.
Me and my brother, we do it all the time.
I
And a
definitely
few of my
think that
mates.
way. I reckon.
We haven't vocalized it, but we
Yeah.
We definitely
it's
vocalise
just
it.
thinking
Yeah,
upside
it's-
downside is
Yeah.
EV. Like you're analyzing the EV.
Well, at the end of the day, it's when you're weighing up priorities.
That's the same thing.
It's the same shit, but
Yeah.
we're just putting
Yeah.
a very mathematical sort of term
And
on
we're
it, I
titling
suppose.
it. Yeah.
Titling it, yeah. But
Oh yeah, one thing I just want to touch on quickly. So we talked about poker.
Yeah.
It's like pretty similar to match betting, like the variance and shit.
Yeah, we've
So
had-
I was up 1,500 2021. And then I went down 700, I think, in
Yeah.
2022 so I was down 600. So 2022, I lost $600 from 3 times going. I haven't been since. So I'm still up $800.
Yeah.
But it's all about like the EV. I think I realized that I wasn't a positive EV player.
Safe stuff.
Maybe because the cash tax money.
you probably get a bit
We're
more
factoring
aggressive.
in all the fucking again, like the way you think. It's like everything's
I realized
evaluated.
I was like, oh fuck, I could actually become a pro poker player. That's what I thought.
That's
I'm
big.
like
That's-
not even joking.
That's
like,
peak of man stupid. Dunning,
Yeah.
Dunning
and then
Kruger
I
effect.
lost 3 times in a row in 2022. I have not gone 2023 once.
But you need to be humbled like that every now and
Yeah,
again.
and I was like, fuck, maybe I am a negative EV player. I'll stop and take my winnings.
run
Yeah.
with your variance.
use your energy.
That's what
in
people who
something
hit
else.
a multi early on in their
Yeah.
career should do. If they hit a
Yeah,
big multi,
fuck.
you win 20 grand, cash out, never bet it again
yeah.
because you've got your positive variance.
Good luck.
Some of my mates back in Perth, they're like, they win like a $40 of a multi. Like, yes, I can go out tonight and buy more drinks.
Yeah.
It's just like, fuck, like, I wish I could tell them. And I've
mash
tried,
it.
but then they just said like, yeah, you guys are losers.
I
So,
think the thing that frustrates me the most, it's not that they're like, I get punting for fun. I understand people like to do it.
Oh,
but
I love it,
It's for sure. But it's the opportunity cost of what you could make match betting. It's
Yeah.
like you could be making 25 grand a year, 50 grand a year, depending on how large you want to go. Maybe 5 grand a year.
Yeah.
So I don't care that, like, yes, stop losing is fantastic. But for most people, like, we have this conversation a lot. Losing, $10, $20 a weekend, $1,000 over a year for
It's
most
not
people.
that much.
It's not the end of the world, and it's fine. Like people spend $1,000 on coffee a month.
Exactly. Yeah.
But it's like you could be making 50 grand. Like that's why I don't get. That's what I don't. That's what frustrates me.
Yeah,
the most.
and the thing you're not factoring as well is where are you going to be like financially in your own headspace, psychological stress if you made 25K versus losing 1K.
And what doors does it open? Like
Correct.
you
Yeah,
think yourself,
exactly.
Like what doors
Like
does
you
that
guys
open
exactly
to?
started everything for me.
Yeah. That's
I
cool,
wouldn't have
man.
been where I
But
am
like
now.
at the same time, you did it all. Like you took the risk.
We told you,
Yeah.
but you did it.
Like there's
yeah.
people like the flip side. You see that TikTok video, you do the free course, you consider signing up for 6 months, you sign onto the system, you cancel after 3 months, you never get into Platinum Squad, and you don't do it. Instead, you're like, fuck this, balls to the wall, and just buy Platinum.
It's
and
just
then,
butterfly effect. The way
Yeah.
you make a decision now affects what happens in fucking 2 years. It's like any decision you make. So, yeah, good chat.
Yeah, that's sick. Cool, man.
Good work.
Cheers.
Cheers for coming on. Cheers for coming
Thanks
on.
very much.
Yeah.
I reckon a lot of people resonate with your talk.
Yeah.
You'll get a lot of clips out of your head on TikTok, and I guarantee you're going to cop hate. So prepare for it.
Yeah.
Are you all good with that?
Yeah. I don't care.
Fuck them. Stay
Yeah.
broke.
Stay broke. Stay
No,
broke.
it's like you do you. Like
Yeah,
I'll do
that's
my
it.
own thing.
That's
Nice.
it. All the best with Evan as well. Keen to stay in touch with you and see where
Yeah,
you're at
for
in
sure.
another 12 months' time. Because I reckon you're going to be
I reckon get
kicking
him on
some
the team
serious
somehow.
goals. Yeah, I reckon
That's my
if you want to do
personal
some
opinion.
paid ads in the gambling space, let us know.
I'll do them, bro.
Yeah.
I'll do it. I was thinking like sales. Like you guys don't do sales calls for like Platinum Squad.
We do.
We only if someone
we're all-
books a free call, but yeah,
It's like, dude, let me hop on a call and try close a guy.
I love
like,
the sound of this.
Give me 10% commission.
Yeah.
I'd do
you're
it.
employed. Done.
I'll do
Yeah, we
it.
genuinely talk because we want more salespeople, 100%.
Yeah.
So we've
We're
been
building a team.
genuinely
Especially,
talk about that.
oh yeah, actually.
Yeah,
So that's what
we're
my brother
slowly
does.
building team
Yeah.
of not
Yeah.
sales, but
So
like
what does
the
your
whole
brother
team.
do? Are you like you similar? You're very different. Like,
We're super similar.
Are you identical?
Yeah, we're identical. We
Identical,
should have he should have matched bet, but obviously
why
like
didn't
the
he? Yeah.
address and shit.
So he's taking
Yeah.
he's
the
taking the hit.
No, but he did like
You got
he
the
did this
positive
like
there.
positive EV betting, like which is like mugging.
Yeah.
But it was like super unsustainability.
Did he make money?
unsustainable. Yeah. I think it's because of the markets he was placing on.
Yeah.
Like Iceland, fucking
Okay.
soccer,
Yeah, okay,
Division
yeah.
2,
Yeah.
and yeah. So you
But
just
he
get
understands like how
Yeah,
to
he
turn over
understands
bonuses
everything.
and all that shit.
Yeah, but he never did it himself.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so I was while he was working a job, I was laying back, just doing the system on Saturdays and
Yeah, nice.
being free. We're living in my parents' house.
Do you reckon you like team up with him? Like, does he
Yeah,
work
so
for you? Like,
Is
the,
he
the whole
doing
reason
sales
why,
for
yeah,
him?
the,
Oh, he's doing
the whole
sales.
reason
Sorry,
why
okay.
he's doing that is because he can then relate back to the business. But obviously, I think he's still got a few years in the sales industry.
Yeah.
For
that's
sure.
100% learn
Yeah,
the skills.
and then
there,
he's like
yeah.
doing my business as a side hustle. That's why I say
Nice.
he's part of my team.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like the main guy of it.
Yeah.
He's just like a
helping
second
you out.
decision
Do
maker.
your
sick.
parents know now that you made money off match betting, or they still
Oh,
don't know?
yeah, they knew because as I said, like on Saturdays brunch.
But
I'll
they
be
knew, like
punting.
they
knew I was
trust
making
that it's
money.
real. Like they don't think it's gambling.
Yeah.
Did they at the
for
start?
sure. Yeah,
Or
I
they-
think
like
they
Steve,
they obviously had some
just get trust that he makes the right
skeptical,
decision.
but it was my money. I bought the course
Yeah.
with my own money. That started everything. So
Yeah, nice, interesting.
yeah.
Sick.
I
We
don't know,
can
do you
talk
get a
about
lot
that.
of parent objections? Like,
Not so much parent, more girlfriend.
Yeah.
So a lot of like
Misses, yeah.
a lot of people, and it's fair because a lot of people come from gambling background, and then
Yeah.
they kind of see what gambling does to them, and then they're like, oh, what the fuck's this? Like, especially with like joining Platinum more so than the system. Like people coming from the system, oh, I want to invest, but my missus has control of my money, which I think is silly. Anyway, but that's another story. Like take control of your own money.
Yeah.
But they'll be like, oh, they're a bit skeptical. They don't really want me to invest in this. And then I've had like sent voice messages to the girlfriend or like show this voice message to your girlfriend or your partner, and then they'll join. And once they've joined, then their partners are fucking lining up to get fucking holidays for free and all sorts of things, and they're reaping the benefits of once they understand it. But I think Steve put out a good video of like trying to explain to people that this is real, because a lot of people don't think it's real, and that's fair because pretty much everything in this space is a scam. And then we have to deal with the backlash of that. So
Yeah.
if you do your research though, you watch the free content, you can work out pretty quickly it's not a scam.
I think
Yeah.
I've tried telling some of my like more degen friends about match betting, and they're like, "Oh, that could be real," but like Siebes, that's
Yeah.
what they say.
I mean, that's
It's
a big part of it
like
too.
what? Like you're losing money.
It's hard to
betting.
understand
I'm
that.
sure most of them have stopped by now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember like I was telling my friends I know lay horses. I didn't say I follow the system, but I was saying I know lay horses and then convert the bonuses, and they understood that. And then when like I think one of them mentioned you guys, and I'm like, who's that? Like just acting dumb. They're like, a bunch of losers. They do similar to what you do, but they're losers. And I'm like,
he's following it.
I'm going to show this podcast.
2-3K
it's gonna be hilarious.
Off the same thing they call losers.
But they're doing the same thing as you, but they're losers. Like
something like that.
Just purely because they don't like our faces. When they don't know anything.
Maybe. But
Got
yeah, so
triggered by
I think
something.
some people do think it's real, but they just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Or they just can't be bothered.
Yeah. But it's like that.
But once you start making money, you
That
realize how
mindset.
stupid you are
Stay
not
broke.
doing it. I
Bro,
think.
stay
Yeah.
broke, literally. If you can't be fucked, then stay broke, as you say,
Yeah.
because like at the end of the day, that is the reason why people do multis, because you can be fucked doing a multi, because the potential of doing a multi means potentially winning 20 grand. Whereas the potential of doing match betting in any individual bet, you're not going to win 20 grand. So, people can't see past one bet. They can't see in 1,000 bets time, you're going to make $2 for every bet. In 1,000 bets, but in this one you could make 2,000 off a $2 bet.
That's
and
the comment.
What people want to
People are like, oh, but I don't want to make like $2 per bet.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about
like-
the long term.
It's like, well, what about if you place 1 million bets? Do you want to make $2 million?
And then my favorite is when they say like, if it was real, where are your slips?
Oh, that's so
Like, what do you say to that?
It's like,
Show us your slips.
What does that mean? Well,
Bro,
the slip
you
that's
send
made-
them the
I'll go-
results, like the all the
Well, they
tips.
wouldn't know what a unit is to know that. But like, bro, I'll go get
you
my
send them the
old sports
spreadsheet.
bet,
Yeah.
filter by wins only, and
Oh,
send
no,
them
you know what
and
people
they'll
say to
fucking buy
that?
it.
You know what
The
people say?
spreadsheet?
Oh, anyone can make a fake spreadsheet. That's what we get all the
Oh,
time.
yeah, it's pretty
Bro,
hard.
we had a guy
How are you
once.
gonna?
This is a classic. We had a guy who thought he thought that we had all these people in the channel, and what would happen is the people would join the channel, and then we'd have a losing week or.
He'd said, if like when the subs, so we're going, when the subs are in there,
Yeah,
we go positive,
that's right.
and then when they jump off,
Oh, that's right. Yeah, yeah. So
We
he was
change it
saying,
or
we'd have we'd go -50, but there'd be no one in the channel, so we could I don't know how it
that's
works.
it was
but
so dumb.
he just had formulated the most ridiculous scenario rather than actually just looking at it.
which
in
would
a
be so much
logical-
harder to actually do than
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
do. It's just like
Yeah, ridiculous. Anyway, we could talk all day. Let's wrap it
we'll
up.
leave it there.
We'll leave it
But,
there. Cheers for coming on.
thanks
It
very
was a
much.
sick chat.
Yeah,
Show your mates.
yeah, I'll definitely show them.
We'll make some clips.
When
and
will
we'll
this
send
get
them to
released?
you.
Like this
Hopefully
year?
have it out in like a week or so.
next week.
Oh,
yeah.
next week.
Next
Okay.
week, and then we'll get some cuts out and put them up. And
Yeah, I don't mind getting hate. Plus, like,
yeah, you won't.
what
get
is there
hate.
to hate about me?
No,
I mean,
Well, no, you'll be
like what did
surprised.
I?
You'll
like,
get, you'll
what,
get
what,
hate.
like what could you think? I mean,
what would
apart
people
from my
hate
physical
about?
appearance, like from what I said, what could they hate about?
But that's the
people
thing.
would just be like, people first.
Oh, he's
probably say you're
bullshitting.
paid
They'll
up,
write
stuff,
something like cap
bullshitting maybe,
or
yeah.
fucking. They just write dumb shit that doesn't make sense. Like every bit of hate is not logical. It's personal or it's just dumb. Like
Yeah.
And then you question them, you're like, what do you get out of this? And it's like it's not that deep. Yeah. It's just
So
like,
that was the main reason why I didn't start my own course or
Yeah.
tipping service, because I knew to effectively grow a business, you have to grow the personal brand and you have to
So,
post
yeah.
content.
You have to get your face.
I don't want to be seen as a gambling guy.
Yeah.
But
You know,
you guys
yeah.
do. Obviously, you guys are fine with that.
I don't have a problem with it
at the
because I
start,
tell you
I
what,
didn't want to do that
Yeah.
either.
It's like,
Yeah.
as I
Then I
said,
got over
you're
it.
talking to a bunch of girls and they just like were like,
Yeah, but
what the fuck?
I'd love that
No.
situation personally because they would
I
question.
personally hate it because I just can't be
Yeah.
asked with it because I spend all day
No.
doing it. I'm at the pub trying to have a beer. Like that's why I don't like
so
it.
that's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
why I chose not to go down
Yeah,
that path.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I knew
yeah.
I had to do something else.
See, I would personally I like that.
Yeah.
I like being challenged because it gives me an opportunity to
I just get
potentially
too
change
emotional.
someone's mind.
I'm like, shut the fuck
And
up.
then after that convo, she would probably like question a lot of things because she'll be thinking after the convo, like this actually has worked and I was an idiot. So it's like, well, at least you taught her something. But anyway, let's go. That's it. Turn
Nice.
it off.
Cool.
Cheers.
Good
Cheers,
work.
guys.
Thanks, man.
Cheers.
Cheers, Gator.
All right. Well done in getting to the end of the podcast. You're obviously one of the patient people. I've got 3 things. Listen up. I'll be 40 seconds max. First thing, if you're a brand new member, you've never joined before, we have a brand new free course, which we filmed in September 2023. Go and do it. It's linked below. You'll learn exactly what we do, where to start, how people are making money in the space. Second thing is, if you do want to join the system and you've been on the fence, discount code 10% off for any subscription of a month or longer, ongoing as well. Use the code GATOR10 at the checkout. And finally, the third thing, most of you won't know this exists and we haven't pumped it. It's been around for probably close to a year. We have a system affiliate program. What does that mean? You can get 30% ongoing profit for any subscriber that you refer directly through your link. How do you do it? The link will be below. All you need to do is sign up. Once you've signed up, you send a link to someone to sign up to the system who's not yet a member. If they sign up, you get 30% of their ongoing revenue directly paid to your account. So if you were to refer 10 people and they join the system on a monthly subscription of $100 per month, you would earn $300 a month ongoing. If you're someone who is creative in the content creation space, you want to create a TikTok, you want to be creating content, maybe you want to vlog your own journey, and you want to collect some revenue off that and make some profit, that affiliate portal link is also in the description. We'll see you at the next podcast, and obviously subscribe and turn your notifications on. We're going to be pumping a lot more content. Cheers.